Alright, I have to restart the recording. Because Lucky said a bad word at, like, second one. I'm like, ooh, YouTube's not going to like that. Also, Lucky's very far away right now. Hi. Really quick, before he gets back, I will just let you guys know that this episode is brought to you by our patrons, like Ahanga Comics, Kwa, Jeremy Vasquez, Kylie Denton, Nestor Flores, Sodasan0424, and VideoGamer75. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies, and it will help us out. Thank you for your support, everybody.
Thank you!
Just tiny shouting, Lucky. And hey, hi, hello, everybody. This is What's Up 100. I am super loud on my sound waves. Let me... 50? 100? I don't know. I'm tired. I'm going to talk about that. I think I said this on Let's Talk yesterday. The last week, there were only 3 things I did. One is play Breath of the Wild, one is write my L5R campaign, and number 3 is just die. So, since I'm not writing or playing Zelda right now, not that I wouldn't, because the Switch is amazing, but I cannot talk and do the fucking hideout at the same time. That's not physically possible.
I can totally talk and play Breath of the Wild, which I plan on doing as soon as I find the fucking controller bit that lets me slip the Joy-Con. I don't know about you, but
are you just gonna pop portable? Pop that son of a bitch out there. Put it in your lap.
Yeah, but I have a fucking 40-inch TV.
All right, fair. But no, what I'm saying is that I can't play it right now because I'm at a part where I definitely could not talk and do it. I'm at the Yiga clan hideout, and I'm like, no, that's not physically possible. This entire event may not be physically possible at all, but we'll get to that later.
I'm trying to remember. Is that the part where you have to sneak through the fucking...
Yes, it's the mandatory stealth mission that's also super shitty with extra mechanics, because our game's not already hard enough. We have to deliberately break the rules to make it harder. My sound levels are still super, super loud. How do I sound to you guys? Like, I'm fucking blowing up.
Audible and loud.
Like, my audio waves on the recording are, like, blowing the fuck up. I'm like, am I too loud? Alright, everybody says I'm fine, so I'll just run it through normalize later, and hopefully I'm not super loud to the future YouTube audience.
Future tubes! Okay, fine, I'll update. I'll update and continue looking for this controller.
So, I guess we're just gonna jump right in and talk
we
about
are.
Breath of the Wild. I wasn't sure which thing we would talk about first.
For 2 years?
Yeah, I think it was 2017 was the original release date, but yeah, so I think I mentioned it last week, finally got my Switch, been playing Breath of the Wild. I've actually played it docked, so I really shouldn't throw shade at Lucky, because I like it docked too, both sides.
Okay, man, you vamp. I'm actually gonna take off my headphones so I can look for this damn thing. I'll yell things randomly, though.
Alright, so Lucky is going away now to search his room, and you may hear rummaging noises, but I'll exposit on Breath of the Wild for a little bit. Yeah, you do. The Switch is a great platform. I think I said this last week, but I appreciate the quality level docked, and that's a pretty smooth, simple process to just plug it in your fucking TV and go. I actually like the little controller holder for the Joy-Cons. By the way, I didn't say this last week, but I have red and blue is my color. But yeah, the little controller frame, I find that pretty convenient. I know some people prefer the Pro controller for some stuff, and maybe I will later, but for Breath of the Wild, it's fine. I just had to... thanks to, I think it was Kwa who told me last week that you can switch the jump and dash button. Saved my life, multiple people. I can see that. Sometimes things have weird smells. But I just popping it out of the dock, I love that too. It's got a great amount of weight for, a portable. Not too heavy, not too light. Feels like you could work out a little bit by just moving it around. I have taken a few Switch dumps, so I've used the Switch to its fullest potential. But, yeah, I got Breath of the Wild first. Everybody said that was a good one to pick, and I was like, fuck, let's start at the beginning. Breath of the Wild. Really want to play that game. I think we've talked about Zelda before a lot. Alright, so good. I've managed to vent mostly about my opinions on the Switch before actually talking about Breath of the Wild.
Oh. Well, we've talked about Legend of Zelda, a lot, because, as I said, one of the things that we plan on doing when we consolidate is we're going to play a fuck ton of Legend of Zelda.
Yes. On various systems and machines, but we'll get there. Listen, it's Nintendo. They'll keep re-releasing them.
Yeah.
We might have to dig up a Wii U for Wind Waker HD.
Oh no, I've actually heard that there is a rumor going around that Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD may be coming to the Switch.
Thank Christ. I think I asked for that last week. I was like, "Dear Nintendo, please remaster Twilight Princess and put it on the Switch, please." For me.
It's only a rumor as far as I recall, but rumors aren't entirely...
Also, I mean...
unfounded.
It is Nintendo. Like, that's their moveset.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so Dallas has said that Breath of the Wild is a great game and not what he wants in a Zelda game. So let me talk about the game for a little bit, for once. I love it a lot. It's very interesting what mechanics they do with stuff, right? Like, I think Breath of the Wild harkens back to very early Zeldas. Like, it makes me feel kind of like what I've seen, because I haven't really played them. But it makes me feel kind of like Zelda 1 and 2, like the originals on the NES, like just, hey, you're in a place, it's fucking huge, figure it the fuck out.
Shit.
But also it does like completely unique things, like I love unlimited bombs. That's amazing. I love that. That's great. That's a great thing. The other three Sheikah Slate powers, magnesis, stasis, cryosis, those are cool. Those are an interesting application of like weird magic shit that Zelda usually does, but it's usually like limited or really gimmicky in some way. I use magnesis and cryosis at least all the time. Oh hey, I need to cross water, and I don't want to swim because swimming fucking sucks, like it always does in Zelda. Oh, I'm just gonna stand here for 5 minutes and make a bridge of ice blocks to jump over. But also some of the weird departures, like, I like that you can just pick up boomerangs and that you get a bow really early and they're just stuff. But also, I kind of agree with Dallas, it's missing some stuff that I feel like are intrinsic to the genre now. Mostly, where the fuck is my hookshot? Like, you could make it breakable like anything else and shoot at walls and stuff. Fuck it. I love it. I want it. I want a hookshot. Also, yeah, having done one of the Divine Beasts now, which wasn't really that complicated, and I said this in our games chat, but boy howdy, the spooky Blight Cannons are real easy when you have the Master Sword already. Ruta was my first. We'll talk about God Bless Sidon later. And Frank is also my friend. I love that there's a Zora named Frank. But hey, just eat apples so you have max hearts and fucking throw sword lasers at him. It does, like, I think an eighth of the bar per sword laser. So I did it in about 5 minutes. It took me longer to figure out some of the puzzles. So yeah, the game's really interesting, and I love that kind of like, I love that openness to the design, because let me tell you what I did first, and Lucky, if you can remember, you tell me what you did first. So what I did first was memories. I was like, okay, it makes the most sense for me to go to all the memory spots, and I followed a guide to kind of find them, and I also unlocked all the towers, so I wanted to see the whole map. So I'm like, okay, I'll do all the memories, and that'll be the thing, and that'll be like, then I'll move into stuff. Yes, that does mean no beasts beaten, no Master Sword, no nothing. I put on my fucking stealth pants, and I ninja'd my way through Hyrule Castle to get that one. Because there's one of the memories in there, and it was a little tense. But this fucking sneaking segment for the second one is harder. After that, I had almost enough hearts to get the Master Sword anyway, so I just fucked around doing shrines until I got enough, and then I'm like, sick, got my sword. Guess I'm gonna solve this Divine Beast problem already. So, Lucky, what did you do first in Breath of the Wild?
I think I literally spent 3 days just hanging out on the plateau, enjoying life. Like, honestly, because, like, apparently there's a lot to do just on the training plateau. I can't remember what it's actually fucking...
It's actually called the Grand Plateau.
Plateau.
Yeah, I love that. It's an open-ended tutorial section.
Yeah.
Here, let's give you all your powers and teach you how to play.
Hmm. But let's see. The first thing I did is when I went off is I said, all right, I'm gonna go this direction, and I'm not gonna let anything stop me. Oh, this wall I can't climb over has stopped me. Not because I can't climb it, it's just because my stamina fucking runs out. I'm like, okay. So I basically spent a lot of time just running around. I would like to say I meandered towards Kakariko Village.
It's a very meandering. Also, by the way, I want to point out, because people are talking about too little stamina. I'm down to Divine Beast and have a Master Sword and everything. I have taken no stamina ups. I have done all of this on just food and starting stamina. Because I really wanted hearts, because, man, things hurt. Things hurt in this game.
Also, I think it was always kind of, I was always kind of, whoa, that pulling the Master Sword drains your life. I was all like, okay, Vampire Sword.
It's a test.
So, let's see. What else I really did is, like, once I got to Kakariko Village, like, that's when I truly started faffing about. Because oh god, there's so much faffing. Like, I don't, like, actually remember, like, the order I did things, because I basically did the Divine Beast as I, like, wandered into the area from just my meandering.
Which I think is the way the game kind of intends you to take it, because, like, you have all these big cutscenes when you first get close to the Divine Beast, and, like I mentioned earlier, Prince Sidon is just hanging out at the base of Zora Domain and is like, yo, hey, Hylian dude, come help us. I'm Prince Sidon. I'm super cool. Look at me do my arm gesture. Ding! And I'm like, you are the most bro Zora I have ever met. I will definitely come back and help you.
I fucking
also, your sister was really cute. We might have banged. She made me the armor. I don't know.
That was
I need to find the hat for that.
Oh god. You need it. The quest is for the hat. I think is a quest. I think. Oh, I got a stick.
I think the one that was. Well, I did the monuments thing, but I don't know. I'll have to double check. Yeah, he's great. He's the bestest.
I put on my pants. Fuck.
So we're talking about faffing. First of all, yes, super dress up. Legend of Zelda dress up, amazing. Love it. So cool. Like I said, this is them doing really unique things with classic mechanics. Like what I said, the boomerang. When I first found, I think it was a Lizan boomerang, I was like, boomerang, huh? Well, I'm holding it just like a sword. What do I? Oh shit! I just throw it because that's a dedicated button, and it fucking comes back to me. Holy shit! Like, you just learn stuff in this game. Just mind your own business.
I think
you're
the
like,
craziest thing.
Oh shit! I can throw.
You know what? I think the craziest thing I learned in this game that completely changed how I fucking dealt with a certain enemy. I learned that I could fucking if you do the perfect counter on the Guardian's laser, you can fucking reflect that back and kill them in one shot.
Oh, neat. That's gonna take some crackerjack timing, though. I'll have to try that.
So
wait, all shields are mirror shields?
Yeah.
Interesting, because that was the thing I was going to complain about. Like, there's some iconic gear that we didn't really get into, but I guess if all shields are mirrored, if I could fucking perfect deflect. Okay, I'll have to experiment with that sometime.
Yeah, no, like, I'm pretty sure you can find, like, videos. No, I do remember, I saw one video of a guy who had, like, 4 fucking, like, lasers just, like, shot at him, and he just did the and since they fired at the same time, he was able to perfect deflect all 4, and just hit and destroy, like, 4 Guardians in one hit. I'm all like,
nice.
God damn,
because Guardians are still a thing that I don't really know if I'm supposed to be fighting them yet, because they're scary. See, that's why I focused on Heart so hard. I'm like, everything fucking kills me.
Actually, like, if you have the Master Swords, actually, Guardians aren't that difficult.
Okay, so is the Master Sword one of the allowed things I can hit with the Master Sword?
Well, it's not one of the, like, most allowed, but it doesn't, like, drain as quickly.
Okay.
Because, the way I dealt with the Guardians with the Master Sword, because you just run up on them, and you start, like, just taking out their, legs, they can't, like, they have troubles dealing with that shit.
Alright. But yeah, so, like, we talk about faffing, which we're doing a lot in this discussion, but Breath of the Wild is such a faffy game, because it's like, oh, hey, literally to buy armor, and also to unlock Great Fairy Fountains, I would literally set up the Sheikah sensor to be like, yo, Sheikah sensor, where the fuck are ore deposits? And just wander around with a sledgehammer mining gemstones so I could buy new clothes. Because clothes are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And just, like, or cooking. You can just fuck around cooking. I have, my meal list is almost constantly full, and it's never full of the stuff I actually want. I need to get better about targeting my ingredients. Usually what I want is stamina recovery, or maybe like a specific resistance. Like I don't think temperature resistance anymore because I bought the Reno armor, the Snow Quill suit, and I've given it some upgrades. Which is another thing. You can upgrade your clothing with random materials, which means you gotta fuck around and find random shit to hand to great fairies. Which brings me to another point, which is all the character designs in this are amazing. Like, everybody's models are so great.
Oh yeah, no, there's well, I think that's also partly because like it's a pretty, like, I want to say small cast of characters.
Well, yes and no, because like even a lot of the generic models are still very decently made. They're a bit repetitive, sure, but like there's still a decent amount of quality in just the raw modeling, and then the actual character designs are like, for important characters, are really sharp. Which is code for everybody's fucking adorable.
Oh man, like everyone's all about, you know, that Princess Zelda. God, I can't remember her damn name now.
Which one?
The Kakariko Village, the daughter of the Impa.
What's her granddaughter? I think because Impa's super old.
Yeah, granddaughter.
Let me double check because it starts with a P, I think, but it's not Pura. That's Impa's sister, or something related.
I gotta look it up now. Hang on.
Well, I'm sure the chat will let us know. No, Dallas, that's not helpful.
Google! Google Sensei!
Paya, that's it.
Yeah, there we go. Paya is like my waifu in this. Oh, it's an axe! Sorry.
You got an axe.
I'm gonna cut down some fucking tree.
Which is another fun thing you can just do. You can just cut down trees.
I mean, you can cut down trees, you can set things on fire.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Like,
Pura is Impa's older sister, but you can't tell because she accidentally lollified herself.
She is okay with it.
Well, it's implied in her experiment diary that she did some mental regression too, so of course she's okay with it. Where was I? I was blowing my nose. But yeah, so like character designs are really good. The Gerudo are of course a very iconic as always. Though I found it funny, I finally spoke to their quote unquote elder, their chief, and I'm like, "Girl, you're small for a Gerudo."
And that means she's just easier to head pat because she's precious.
But yeah, I'm like, what was the exact spelling of her name? I think it was Riju. I'm like, compared to Urabosa, you're very small. You're like half her height. What the fuck? I'm playing in English, which I don't mind. The voice cast is alright.
There's an image I gotta share with the Discord because it sums up my feelings about the Gerudo real good.
Oh no. By the way, this is why you should tune into our Discord.
Where is it?
Zelda's voice actress? She's alright.
Where is it? There it is! Found it! Boom.
Like, I think everybody's a little bit stilted, but that's just kind of how dialogue and these kind of things goes. Like, it's real hard to deliver, verily thee must defeat Ganon, please. Use the powerful beasts. I'm like, yeah, no, people can't really... I don't think that's easy to do an organic delivery on that. It's actually something I talked about with my creative writing teacher. That, like, doing organic dialogue is hard. But yeah, no, I don't mind anybody's voice acting.
Oh yeah, that's right, that's how I fish.
I'm just imagining Lucky throwing bombs into the water.
No. I was trying to remember, like, because I said, I restarted Breath of the Wild, like, I'm back in the plateau, and I'm in that immediate pond, so I'm like, wait, how did I catch fish? Like, did I use a weapon? It's like, wait, no, I just put on the fucking stealth suit and just walked up to them and grabbed them.
Neato.
Like I
Alright,
said,
that's
like,
pretty
I'm
good.
try-
I'll keep that in mind if I ever need a fish. I think I need some... No, the problem is I need hardy carp, which are, like, only found by waterfalls or something. Because I'm trying to upgrade my Zora armor, because I have some... I think my, like, just Hylian gear is, like, rank 3, so it's, like, all 12s, and I'm like, this is okay. This is good. This is a good amount of defense. But it's all vanilla. So I'm like, but what if I need to be warm? Or what if
honestly,
I
that's
need to
what
be a
I,
girl?
like... Oh god, Trap Link is best. Anyway,
A
no, but
veritable
this is
gay
what...
icon. Light yourself on fire. You're not wrong, Dallas. But I paid a lot of good money to not light myself on fire.
Well, that's something I do enjoy.
Though
about,
I did accidentally light myself on fire paragliding close to Death Mountain once. And I was like, whoops. I'm not going to be here for a while.
Trying to beat this dude with a stick.
Though that one guy you get the Gerudo outfit from, dude, have you not heard of razors? Your disguise would be perfect. Except...
It's like, I ain't judging you, I'm just disappointed you're not taking this as far as you can.
No, like, obviously it works for me, Link, because I'm fucking adorable, and clean-shaven, and fluffy.
I kind of want to get rid of these fucking mutton chop sideburn things, though. And
No, but Paya loves them. She talks about how golden fluffy they are. Yes, I read her diary. I read everything. This is Zelda, dude. I go into your house and I break your shit for money. You got some pots in here? Fucking take them.
I do enjoy it, like, when you first run into the old... Wait, what's that? Oh, okay. When I first run into one, there's, like, the torch and the baked apple, and he's like, what are you about to do with those? And I'm just like, set shit on fire? And he's like, that's unnerving. Tee-hee.
Also, you take his baked apple and he's like,
Hey! Nah, I'm kidding.
just kidding. Because I was the spooky king ghost the whole time. I'm huge. Why is my daughter so tiny? I don't know.
The king
Seriously,
of Red
why
Lions
is the
always
king so
fucking
huge? Like, I guess Link is supposed to be like 16 or 17 or something, but he's like half the height of really huge people. Not that it matters, because he's a huge boss. By the way, I think you were talking about it's your headcanon that Link is just so strong that he just shatters everything.
Yeah, because, like, if we're
I
talk
think
about,
that's
like...
true, though, because, like, what was it? Well, first of all his upper body strength to climb all that shit.
Yeah.
But also, have you seen him throw shit? Like, those huge fucking hammers? I think he's just swole.
Yeah. Because everyone probably knows this, but the big mechanic about Breath of the Wild is that your gear has durability.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something that, I've always had troubles coming to grips with, because I got a bomb here. When I'm using equipment, like, I don't want it to be, like, one and done. Like, I don't mind the idea that weapons can break, I just don't like the idea that they break permanently.
Yeah,
Like,
and some of them don't, because for instance, I've got the Lightsworn Trident. You can talk to a guy and he'll replace it if it breaks.
Yeah, but that means you have to go find another silver trident.
Oh, does he need a silver trident as material for that? Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well,
Like, that's how, like...
luckily you got the Sheikah
here's the thing,
sensor to search for that shit.
Yeah, I know, that's the thing. Like, and the great thing is that their weapons do have predetermined spawn locations. Like, what was it? I can't remember the name of the special Goron weapon you get, but you can find the base weapon of that just sitting in the fucking Goron, the Goron village. And, that will respawn every once in a while. But, like, at the same time, it's just, like, I usually get used to using a specific weapon.
Yeah, I have a couple, and I'm like, I'm immediately hoarding. I'm like, I'm saving this shit. Like, I've got a flame blade, and I'm like, I'm gonna hold on to this until I need it. And it just sucks up my inventory space. Usually I find myself using a couple of Boko weapons, or Lizal weapons, just because I can get those wherever.
Yeah, and the other thing about that is there's so many different types of weapons. Not to mention special weapons or weapons that you're only gonna get once. Because there's some I can pray here. There are some weapons that you will only find one.
Yeah, some things are really cool and interesting. Like, I like how every one of the 4 other races basically has their own thing you can find. Yes, no, we're doing what? Well, I don't know. Is he listening?
Yeah,
I don't. I just
no, he's
scrolled
not.
down.
He's
Okay,
not in.
punk bitch. Anyway,
No Crow, you a punk bitch, but you're probably not gonna hear it.
rip. But no, there's a Gerudo scimitar, there's a little Reno sword, there's the Zora spear, stuff like that. Also, they got like Zora swords and stuff. They got a couple of different things. Like, it's a cool bit of world building, and like some of it's interesting. You're right, there's a lot of variety. I kind of like that because it keeps some stuff fresh, but at the same time, there's a lot of sorting through your junk. Like, there's a lot of inventory management, which is honestly, like, again, speaking like Dallas said this earlier about how it's a fun game, but it's not quite what you expect from, like, not necessarily what you want out of a Zelda game.
Mm-hmm.
It's really a post-apocalyptic survival game. Like, the world fucking ended, you woke up after 100 years, now you have to survive in the fucking wilderness. Like, you have to watch your temperature, you have to eat shit, you have to, like, manage your equipment. So inventory management is key, cooking is key, all that stuff.
It's Choo-Choo, fuck you.
But
it
is
bitch.
a little weird. Well, I mean, it took me a while to figure out how cooking works, so I ate some dubious meals in my time.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a Gerudo cooking class, but I think that's at night, so...
Oh yeah, I've gone there. It's cute.
I do love that she didn't start the class or anything, so I don't know if I missed the time window, but like one of them was like, Vo and you. I'm like, oh, this is great. Oh, everybody... I haven't been to Goron Town yet, but so far out of the like 4 races / cities / divine beast plotlines, I think my number 1 location and story and general feel is the Zora, because that was just super unique. We're just like, oh, half the Zora people fucking hate you because they live forever and they remember some bad shit happened and they think it's your fault. I'm like, okay, thanks guys. It doesn't suck for me because I woke up after 100 years and all my friends are dead. Yeah, I was about to say that the Rito Tower is kind of at my bottom because they don't really seem to be doing much with their lives. I love that one bird who's just playing classical music though, like just hanging out with his accordion. Love that guy or girl. I don't know.
I think it's a guy, but I love their rendition of fucking the ranch theme.
Oh yeah, just where you just show up at near a stable and it starts playing a gentle.
In the accordion, you're just like, oh god, this is amazing.
Yeah, the music is really great. I kind of like. I'll say this: I kind of miss some of the classic motifs, like the field theme doesn't play except for a couple of like the main theme crescendos when you do cool stuff in the story. Mm-hmm. Stuff like that. You hear snippets of Zelda's Lullaby, like in some of the memories, stuff like that. But like, all of it's really good. I'm gonna have to check out the soundtrack for this when I'm done. I think, is there a really good Hyrule Castle rendition in this? Because my first Legend of Zelda game was A Link to the Past, which has a really iconic rendition of the Hyrule Castle theme. I think it might have been the first. So that's a big deal to me. Mm-hmm. Like that's we've talked a little bit about Smash before, but none. I hate horses. So we're gonna get into my further complaints in a little bit, I think. But, well, fuck it, we'll just do it now. So, we're talking about how much we like the game, but also how its systems are weird. There's some stuff I don't like. I don't like horseback riding. Don't like it at all. I don't know if I just got a really shitty horse to start with, but I hate how much, how like, you constantly have to, like, shift their speed. Like, it feels like the horse just slows down on its own after a while. Also, God forbid, it, like, decides to move itself 5 feet to the right and run into a knee-high rock and come to a dead fucking stop. Thanks, horse. So my horse, which is named Horse, is just stuck in Hateno Village, and I will never get it. I'm like, you're fucking staying there, horse. God, my sound waves are so big. Also, to answer Artemis's question, we've been going for about 30 minutes. All on Breath of the Wild.
So, like,
go ahead.
I don't use horses, like, I use horses when I'm going, like, well, before I figured out fucking fast travel.
Love it. Fast travel's so cool. That's great in the Zelda game.
Like, when I'm trying, like, I only use horses when I'm basically charting, like, unexplored territory, but only unexplored territory on main road.
Yeah, I was about to say, because see, I just did as the crow flies, and I'm just all paraglider and fucking free climbing.
Yeah. Like, because,
I think I talked about this when we talked about, Zero Dawn, where I'm like, God, I wish this was like Breath of the Wild and you could literally climb anything.
Guess what? You can climb fucking anything.
Yeah, because you can. It's amazing. I love it. Unless it's raining, which is my second problem. I like that there's the survival aspect. I like that you're against the elements and stuff, and like you gotta like keep in mind all this shit. Rain fucking sucks. Like you can't do anything. You can't unless you're close to an inn. You can't sleep to pass the time. You can't because you can't start a campfire. You can't climb anything because it's slick. The lightning effect sucks, but that's pretty rare, at least in most areas. And just I'm like, God, this is a usual key Zelda thing. I wish there was a fucking weather rune, and I could play a song and be like, "Hey, fuck you, rain, go away." That was me literally looking at the ceiling.
Yeah, I saw the campfire thing, but I would go find one of the fucking caves or one of the little enemy skull hat things.
Yeah, you can get around it a little bit, but like it's just like it's one of the things where it kind of robs you of your agency, and I'm like, wow, this just sucks because I just have to go do something else than what I wanted to do right now. Because, like, I can't fucking climb and other stuff. So it's like, it was a little frustrating.
It's a little frustrating, but I still kind of feel it because, you know, things are slick and wet.
Well, yeah, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's intentional. Like, overall, it's a really good feel. It's just that I feel like the way rain mechanics work is, it's a little constricting, and you're like, well, fuck, I can't get out of it. Unless I literally leave.
Super effective. How did that work? I'm enjoying right now I'm enjoying all the little tutorial setups. So like in the plateau they have things set up so you can just push rocks onto enemies.
Yeah. There are after you get magnesis, there are just treasure chests in the water you can pull out to learn that that's a thing.
Yeah.
Fun stuff like that. So Dallas mentioned that like the dungeon crawling earlier. I kind of agree. Like on the one hand, the shrines are a cool mechanic. As like just, oh hey, here's a little mini dungeon, here's a little puzzle, which Zelda is known for, or a trial of strength or whatever, and you get a little reward out of it. You get 4 of them, you can upgrade something, you know, like a heart piece, but also your stamina bar. But yeah, it's a little weird that like the big iconic Zelda dungeons, there's only 5, and so far, at least as I've seen, the Divine Beasts are not super huge dungeons. They're like, let's see, Ruta was like rooms. 4 terminals, and like generously could be called like 2 or 3 puzzles, rather than just fuck around with traversal. Yes, only Breath of the Wild. We've got other stuff to talk about, but Lucky got us started on Breath of the Wild, so I'm like, I have thoughts. I've been playing it nonstop for like a week and a half, so I have thoughts and feelings. Also, hey, guess what? It's the year of our Lord 2019. Motion controls still suck ass. I'm glad I didn't throw the Switch, but I have, in a classic Nintendo fashion, there are few things that have made me yell at this game while I'm cradling it in my hands. Motion controls is one of them. I like the idea. They are not perfectly implemented. It's a fun concept, but goddamn, it's just like, I'm holding it, I'm holding this thing flat in my hands. Also, yes, Artemis, we talked about weapon durability. I like what they were going for, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. But, like, I'm holding the Switch, like, fucking flat in my hands. It's undocked. I'm holding it straight in front of me from the point of view of when I walked up to the thing to activate the motion controls, and I'm like, why are you skewed, like, 5 degrees to the left? Why? I'm like, what is going on here? But yeah, so luckily I've only, like, run into, like, 2 or 3 of those. Yeah, I don't feel as bad about weapon durability as some people do. Maybe that's because I knew it was going to be a thing going into it, so I'm like, every weapon is precious. But I do see how it gets kind of annoying, because, you know, you find some shit you really like, and then you're like, oh, this is going to break. This is going to go away.
Forever! Like
Luckily,
said, honestly,
most of the weapons I really liked are either just basically common swords or boomerangs, which, luckily, Liz Alphas drop like crazy. God, I love it. When I realized how boomerangs worked, I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. I'm gonna fucking hit you, and I'm gonna take this back, and I'm gonna fucking hit you again. Nerd. Link, just the jock of Hyrule, bullying Lizalfos and Bokoblins with boomerangs. Punk.
Oh, you know there's a giant boomerang, right?
Yes, I found one of those.
Okay.
It's super cool. I'm like yeah,
honestly,
you could just use it as a fucking sword. Oh. Like I said, the aesthetics and the gameplay ideas are really solid. It's just I feel like the game was slightly unpolished somehow, which is really weird. Or it wasn't polished in the areas I'd expect it to be. Like, it's that usual Nintendo thing, right? Where you're like, this game is really amazing. You have missed basic fucking quality of life concepts. Like, quest markers. Dear Nintendo, it's not helpful when I'm doing, like, a location-based quest or a rundown quest that the quest marker stays on the quest giver. I understand you're going for, like, a whole, oh, you gotta explore it for yourself thing. But other game companies have developed these markers around areas. Like, you know, a general zone in Hyrule, which is fucking huge. Thanks for that. So you don't have to tell me exactly where to go. But if using my fucking advanced ancient technology, you could pick a general area where I have to go, that could be cool. Like, it's weird, right? And the same with motion controls. It's like, you guys really should not have tried this hard to make this a thing.
Lucky can't comment on that, as I had no problems with, like, areas and stuff.
I mean, I don't know. It's like, what's his face? One of the guys is like, hey, find my Zoro wife. She's missing. I'm like, do you know where? He's like, I don't know. She got washed down river somewhere. I'm like, oh, that's a big zone, Chief. That's a big area of down river.
I just started at the top of the river, and I'm like, all right, time to work my way down.
Yeah, but God, quality of life. You could make that so much simpler and just be like, yo, she's probably at this place, and if she's not, she's at another place. Side quests are interesting. Some of them are fun, some of them are not. I mean, the picture mechanic is really cool. Like I said, I like the way the Sheikah Sensor Plus works, where it's like, oh, just add it to your fucking phone wiki, and you can radar to it. I'm like, this is amazing. I love this. Like I said, I use that to hunt for ores. So that's really handy. But yeah, it's a Breath of the Wild, really great game, super fun.
It's like, speaking on like the quest marker things, like, I'm definitely okay with it because it definitely encourages me to explore instead of zeroing in on this one space I'm supposed to fucking go to. Because that's the thing that happens when you have quest markers. You will ignore everything between you and that quest marker.
Well, I don't know. Because I've used because the waypoint system is a thing that's really good with like the scope and stuff. Like I've spotted a shrine and like put a fucking glowing dot of light on it, and then meandered my way over there and being like, oh, hey, something completely different over here. Like, I get sidetracked all the time. It's just I wish that the quest markers could provide that sense of direction like my own fucking waypoints do, right?
Close.
The stamp system is also great. And I don't know. It's Legend of Zelda, so I guess I've been using walkthroughs for those games for like forever because, you know, I talked about this, like yelling at my motion controls. Like, a lot of times there's only so much frustration you can take before the game stops being fun, right? So, like, that's something I do sometimes where I'm just like, okay, I'll just look up how to do the sliding block puzzle because I could figure this out, but it would take me like 30 minutes and I'd be really angry at it. So, because I want to keep enjoying this game, I will just look it up. Are you going to change his name to that?
I think I'm going to have to. But I don't know. But here's the problem. I don't think I can like keep Proto 8 in there and fit the rest of that in. That's the problem.
Maybe not. Yeah, the inventory cap for some stuff is a little annoying. I like that. I think it seems like materials is unlimited. And like 3 pages of meals is way more than you really should need. But...
Well, like, you say that, but I think I definitely filled that shit up because I would have potions for... How dare you pick that up? Give it.
Yeah, enemies fucking... You throw their weapons away and they fucking steal them back. I'm like, asshole. No, bad enemy. Give me that back.
Because I would have food that gives me defense, food that gives me attack, food that gives me extra health. I would have potions to resist heat, potions to resist fire, potions to resist cold, potions to increase, other stats.
Well,
so it's just like,
Dallas, it's not an open world game if there's not an incredibly tedious quest to find all the bobs, and which in this case are Korok seeds. I will say, I feel like weapon inventory is a little slim pickings. Like, I'm constantly like, gosh, I wish I could hold like 3 more bows because I found like 3 decent ones that I really want to stock up. Let me junk my half my shit I've got. Or let me just throw away this shield that has a special quality on it for like an actual really good shield. Yeah, no homing bombs or moving bombs. That's kind of sad. That could totally be a rune.
Well, here's the thing that like I want to specifically bring up. Like, I miss dungeons, and I miss, like, for the lack of a better word, gadgets. Just
Yeah, I think that's what most people like. Like, you get all your runes that are important right away on the plateau. And they don't really change. Like, you can upgrade them to get a plus, but that doesn't really do anything different. Like, Bomb Plus, I think, is just the reload is faster and they do slightly more damage. Like I lamented earlier, I want my fucking hookshot. Just, I don't care if it breaks. Just put hookshots in the world. I'll fucking hookshot anywhere. I'll hookshot all over the place. Give me a fucking paraglider. Which is another thing. You get the paraglider as a key item really early, and then it's just like the champion powers, I've only got one, but they seem cool, but also they're not, like, active. Like, magic is just you pick up the rods from those dumb fucking, I guess those are whiz robes?
Yeah.
Here's the problem with every Zelda game ever, it's not a Breath of the Wild thing. Almost every enemy's design wildly changes every game, so I'm like, what the fuck are you again? So, like, moblins are super huge now.
Ooh. Yeah, they are.
Like, they're twice your height. And it's bokoblins who are the little goblin guys. And then there's the fucking Hinox, which freaked me out the first time I ran into one of those. Like,
oh yeah,
those little mini boss guys, they're cool, but goddamn, that's a little annoying too. Like, just those are just in the world; they're not in things. It's like, so you're just chilling out here, and some of them are side quests and some of them aren't. It's like I said, the game has a really ambitious design. It's really fun. I wish it were a little more Zelda-y.
I forgot just how, like, field of field of view works. Like, I'm standing, like, on the Grand Plateau. I can see the fucking flying divine beast from here. If I add a
you can see Death Mountain, which is almost as far north as you can get.
And then it's just like, if I can, like, keep my eyes on one... Oh, wait, is that the fucking... Oh, and there's the divine beast walking around it. Yeah, I can see it barely.
Well, yeah, the walking one is cloaked in sandstorm, so it's hard.
Yeah. But,
also, I appreciate that they use non-standard animal designs. Like, I was like, what the fuck is... Oh my god, it's an elephant! And, the desert one is a camel, and I'm like, holy shit. Wow, that's actually unique. But no, I think Dallas raised this point. Boss design's weak. Like, there's the mini bosses like the Hinox and the Trallis, and then there's, I assume, just from what I know about the game and what I did fighting Waterblight Ganon, that all the other bosses are just gonna be like that.
Yeah.
Except for maybe Final Ganon, who will have his own gimmicks, but I'm just gonna pimp slap him with my Master Sword, like I should have done 100 years ago. Well, let's see. There's Thunderblight, Waterblight. Is it like Frostblight and Flameblight? Probably. So I will say, I appreciate they did a lot of design work. They put a lot of work into the stuff. I hope the sequel improves. Oh god, I'm falling. Rip. One of the worst fears in. There's two things that, like, instantly give you butt-clenching terror in Breath of... Well, three things. One of them is a guardian laser on the back of your head. You're like, shit! Falling is another. Like, whether it's you ran out of stamina climbing or you accidentally jumped off something too tall. And you're just like, whoops! Luckily, you get the paraglider to kind of save your butt, but that doesn't help you if you're out of stamina. And the third thing is swimming, I think, where it's just like, am I gonna make it? Or am I gonna drown? Fuck, I drowned. God, but yeah, so what I was saying is I hope the sequel improves on this, right? Like, they've done all the hard work with the models. It looks like they're reusing most of them except for some edits. Like, they've got all the engine stuff built, right? Because obviously it's, Breath of the Wild is its own unique engine. Hopefully that means they can focus on stuff like implementing new systems and elements in the engine and better level design. Because basically, level design encompasses boss and dungeon design. Like,
yeah, Dallas says it. Like, if they made 4 beasts, unique dungeon with unique bosses, it'd have been fine. And if they gave me a unique gadget, I'd have been okay.
Yeah, as opposed, like, I mean, hey, Mipha's Grace is great. Free revive with bonus hearts, cool, love it. It's still very lackluster for a dungeon reward in Zelda. Like, Oh, I get free passive healing. Thanks. 1 a day. Cool. Didn't sometimes other dungeons let me, like, throw fireballs or turn invisible or other shit? Or, like I said, if this is, like, spiritually inspired by, like, Zelda 1 and Zelda 2, where you just wander around and do stuff, I want the spiritually inspired by A Link to the Past, where you also wander around, but, like, you're a lot more focused on, like, specific zones and specific tools. And also give me those fucking magic medallions back. That would look great in this. Like, if you could do the fucking Atomos one, where you just summon lightning all over the place, that'd be rad. Or the earthquake one, just make everybody shake and fall over, knock over all the trees. Like, that's the thing. The engine they've built for this, which was probably where they put all the work because they basically skipped the entire console generation. Like, there was... Skyward Sword was on the Wii, I think, right? Like, the final one? Like, it was the last game on... Yeah. So there was no new Zelda on the Wii U until Breath of the Wild came out at the end, and nobody should have played it on the Wii U because you should have just bought a Switch.
I mean, they had the Wind Waker HD release.
They did, which was good. That was really good that they remastered Wind Waker after a skip of a generation, right? Because Wind Waker's really rad. And I guess you could have played Wind Waker on the Wii because there was backwards compatibility. I'm also sure it is. I think I heard that about, like, Twilight Princess on the was, like, weird on the GameCube.
Oh shit, I said
that's true, Artemis. Link Between Worlds was an actual, like, an interesting follow-up title.
You can call A Link Between Worlds a reimagining of the past.
Because it's got kind of its own unique things, but it's got kind of the same map and stuff. It was cool, but it was on 3DS, so I didn't play it. Thanks, 3DS. Put it on Switch. Everything on Switch now. I own a Switch, put everything on Switch.
I broke my club on that, guys.
Rip. But yeah, so, like, also this was super interesting to me because...
Oh god, I keep forgetting that.
Hey, here's the thing people should notice. In this, Link is right-handed. Normally Link is left-handed, but you use your sword with your right hand. Which wasn't a big shock to me. I had to think about it because that was a flip they did for... on the Wii version of Twilight Princess, they literally mirrored everything so that Link could be right-handed so that most people could swing the sword, because it was motion controls. So, like, that was the last big 3D game I played. I'm like, oh, that just makes sense. But for Breath of the Wild, they didn't have to mirror flip the map. So it's kind of weird where I'm like, oh, this is funny because the last time I remember playing Hyrule on this giant map, it was Twilight Princess on the Wii, which the whole map is flipped. And I'm like, that's funny. That, like, oh, no, wait, this makes sense because Kakariko Village should be here. It was just in the other place on the Wii because the map was mirrored. That's kind of funny. Yeah, I think he's been right-handed. They decided to permanently make him right-handed ever since they switched him to motion controls are possible, because most people are, unfortunately, for lefties, right-handed. So if you have to swing a sword with motion controls, you really need to have it synced up so people aren't confused.
Honestly, I don't understand why they didn't have a thing where you can just switch between the character models for left or right-handed.
I don't know. I don't really... Like, I'm sure on the Wii that was too much of a pain in the butt, but... yeah, they might do that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, so... like I said, I hope that because they've done all the heavy lifting with modeling and engines and stuff, that Breath of the Wild 2, or whatever they call it, can just be pure gameplay refinement. Like... I don't want to say don't add new systems, but when you add new systems, make them actually build on the building blocks of stuff you've done. Like, give me new runes. That'll be fun. Just give me new runes. And, like, figure out how those work.
In my house. That's what I want.
Please don't take away the paraglider. Yes, correct. That's a perfect mechanic. If anything, give me more shit like the paraglider. Give me more permanent traversal gadgets. Also, yes, like Lucky said, give me a base with some chests.
Well, no, here's the thing. You can. There's a whole side quest where you can get a fucking house. And you can put, and you can get...
There is? Where is this? I must do this side quest immediately. Wait, fuck. I'm stuck in a dungeon that's not a dungeon. Goddamn, I hate this stealth segment. So, to really quickly, before Lucky gets back to telling me where the house thing is, the reason why I want to say the Yiga Clan hideout sucks is because it's mandatory Nintendo difficulty. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, okay, you can't save scum. Fuck you. I'm like, thanks, Thanks for that. I don't know if it's necessarily an automatic death, but if you get caught, the enemies will kill you in one hit, no matter what you're wearing and no matter what they're using. It's bullshit. And you have to sneak. So it's like, that's just... Once again, Nintendo, I know you're Nintendo, but, like, I don't like that you think you can get away with things because you're Nintendo, right? And it's just like, oh, herp de derp, we're Nintendo. This is Zelda. You can't get Zelda anywhere else, so we're gonna keep the same Nintendo bullshit. I'm like, dude, other game companies can't get away with that. That's not cool.
I don't know, like, you're talking about the Z game. I didn't have a problem with it.
Okay, what are you doing
like,
then?
I put on my stealth suit. I got, like...
I don't know, maybe it's because I was doing it in the middle of the night, but, like, no, it's just, I don't like that there's literally no margin for error, and I'm like, I'm not opposed to stealth, but, like, goddamn, it's a lot of
I mean, like,
time taking and throwing bananas and, like, figuring out stuff, and the problem is, there's no room for error, because...
It's like Legend of Zelda's always had, like, some weird stealth section. Always.
Well, I mean, and those have never not been BS, though.
Yeah. It's it's like one of those things. It's like water temples being fucking ridiculous for some odd damn reason.
Well, I'm glad that Ruta was easy, but also, like, again, that's what I'm saying, though. Like, other companies can't get away with just being like, oh, this is just what we always do. It's the same old bullshit. But because this is Zelda, you have to put up with it. I'm like, I don't have to put up with it, but I do have to put up with it because you assholes put it in here, and it's a mandatory quest. Probably.
Oh, yeah,
it's probably mandatory. I don't actually know. I don't know if you can just run up to a divine beast and get on it without having to do the quest to get there. I assume not.
Probably not. Ah! Gravity's a bitch. Alright, that's how. But,
yeah. So, yeah. It's like, yeah, no, you have... Like, I know you can... Technically, I could skip the beast, but I don't want to do that, because that's less content. So, I will get over it, and I will do it later today, and just take it slow and, methodical. I made sure last time when I was like, okay, if there's no checkpoint, I'm like, fuck, there's no checkpoint. All right, so I'm going to put on my stealth suit, and I'm going to save now, so I don't have to keep putting it back on. Because I think I mentioned this earlier, that the Zora was my favorite one. The Garuda is my second favorite, because, like, that actually is really interesting to, like, get in there and hang out with them, and they've got a kind of different culture, and you get a different look because you're cross-dressing. And it's like, oh, hey, sup, Hylian Vi? I'm like, yes, I am a perfectly normal Hylian Vi. I am not a dude in disguise. Except when I go to the secret armor shop, and I'm like, she's like, I'm like, are you here to spend money? Yes. Okay, I'm not gonna blow your cover. Give me 2,000 rupees. I'm like, dunzo.
I do enjoy, like, how, like, there are, like, just, like, a handful of, like, I know men. You're a man. I'm like, and I'm just all like,
Yeah, but it's funny how many of them aren't that. Like, I ran into one in the middle of the desert, and she was like, oh, shit, it's a Vo. Calm down, whatever my name is. Focus. It's just like talking to a regular person. I'm like, this is adorable. Which is why, like I said, I love how their culture and like, their questline stuff comes into it. And it's, like, super interesting. Like with the Zoras, kind of stuff. Like, and like I said, the Birdman Tower doesn't really seem to be doing anything unique other than, oh, it's a tower full of birds. You can buy a cool snowsuit here.
Bruce.
I haven't started the quest to actually do the Divine Beast, so I don't know if we'll get more out of it. I suspect, though, that it will be my least favorite, because I'm sure the Gorons will be great, because I love those motherfuckers. I just haven't actually hiked all the way through Death Mountain yet, because it's on fire with lava.
Yeah, you actually need specialized that.
Yeah, will the heat-resistant gear do it, or do I need to find something flame-resistant?
You need flame-resistant. Heat-resistant's only good for the desert.
Okay. I will...
You can get parts of it, like...
I think flame-resistant elixir. Whatever, I'll figure it out. Hopefully the Gorons sell something flame-resistant in their town?
Oh yeah, no, you can get elixirs and stuff, like... That's what's actually recommended, because you need 2 parts of the equipment to be immune to the effect. And you can get 1 part, like, on the way up.
Okay. Is the ruby circlet heat or flame resistant? Shit. I'll have to check. Whatever, Breath of the Wild stuff. We've been going for about a solid hour in Breath of the Wild. Good job. I was gonna say we should do a Let's Talk Breath of the Wild, but then I was like, nah, fuck it, we're just gonna talk about it on WhatsApp for like 5 hours. It's like what we did with Kingdom Hearts 3.
So
We could have done a whole review show, but I'm like, shit, I think we just got our opinions out over like 3 episodes of WhatsApp.
Oh yeah,
3 hours at a time.
Stuff. God, I miss like having. Fuck.
But yeah, so
Rink, you can only sprint for like 10 seconds. What the fuck, dude?
yeah, gotta get that stamina. He's super strong, but he didn't do any cardio. So I don't know. I feel like we've meandered through most of the whatchamacallit, like yeah, that's a Zombieland rule. Don't skip cardio. Or is it just cardio? I think is the rule.
Cardio, leg day.
I snapped my fingers also, by the way, while I was trying to remember. I hope that didn't annoy anybody.
Also, Link, you sprint like a dork.
Well, yeah. So I think like Dallas has a good point where like one of the themes of Legend of Zelda is that everything is cyclical. So all these people are the fucking same. So Link is Link, and Zelda is Zelda, even though it's not like a big deal. And then like that, I don't know, but that's just like I said. I think that's Nintendo just being weird and possibly lazy. Where they're like, well, shit, if we make her playable, we have to do a whole fucking character design for it. I mean, like that
the fucking,
Breath of the Wild Zelda's pretty sporty. Like there's some, I haven't quite pieced the timeline together. I think at some point that like she puts on her fancy pants goddess robe to go try and do divine stuff, and that doesn't work. But most of the time she's just dressed in like, yo, these are my fucking riding pants. I'm gonna go out there and kick ass. And different versions of Zelda have been different levels of kick ass. Like, I mean,
Twilight Princess.
Yeah, I was about to say, Twilight Princess, she's a fucking boss. Like, she's literally possessed by Ganon's spirit. She's a boss, and she will kick your ass with a sword. And also, she gives you light arrows. And she was a badass pirate lady who was like 12, like you, in Wind Waker. Don't ask me how that works.
I will complain about Wind Waker that as soon as Princess Zelda is revealed as Princess Zelda, she gets literally cloistered in an undersea fucking castle.
Yeah, but that's also kind of because it's like, that's Ganon MacGuffin, which is like, well, shit, now that we know that she's Princess Zelda, if Ganon actually gets her, we're fucked.
Yeah.
I think everybody's really cool in Hyrule Warriors, which, by the way, is on my list of things to get, because Lucky recommended it.
I recommend it again. It's like, this is one of the things that has always irked me about people complaining about, Legend of Zelda and Zelda. Like, Zelda is a leading authority figure, while Link is literally just the schmuck guy with a sword.
I mean, the Breath of the Wild Link is like, you're a professional royal knight. You're actually a real important dude, and you completely fucked it up last time. Well, yeah. We shouldn't blame you.
Actually, Artemis, speaking of that, there's always, because I do agree, in the context of, the standard Legend of Zelda games, yeah, no, I'm not really too keen on, playable Zelda. There is a game, though, that I really, really, really want, though. And it takes place in, Ocarina of Time. Because in Ocarina of Time, once Link pulls the fucking Master Sword and goes into the 7-year sleep, goes from fucking princess to badass Sheikah Ninja.
Right,
I want the story of what happened there.
That would actually be a good game. Bad. Yes. That would be really cool. And, do it like Smash Brothers, where, you can... Because you're the princess, you can, transform into your princess self and just talk to people and be like, yo, do this. Well, I mean, yeah, that kind of makes sense, because when they're talking about iconic characters, if you're writing a whole cloth Legend of Zelda archetype, Link is courage, Zelda is wisdom, so Zelda has all the supernatural power and the authority, and she does all the shit. Honestly, watching Breath of the Wild flashbacks, most of those guys don't even like you as Link. At least in some of the flashbacks. Mipha obviously is your childhood friend who's also a fish lady. But everybody else is just hey, it's that guy who's with the princess who's our leader. He's cool. But I don't know. This princess is the best. So she holds a very important narrative role as the one doing stuff, and even in Breath of the Wild, where oh yeah, she's just been casually holding Ganon back for 100 years while you fucking slept, you dork. I'm like, okay. Well, I'll get to her as soon as I liberate 4 divine beasts and get a master sword, and also maybe get some Korok seeds and get some sweet threads. Find a horse.
It's like, Zelda, you've been holding on for 100 years. You can hold on for like a couple.
You can hold on for like
maybe.
5 more minutes while you continue to warn me about the blood moon every like a couple of days with your psychic messages. So like I understand where they're coming from, where it's like, but Link is an archetypal character where like he needs stuff to do. Like if he's not doing the hero's journey, what is he doing, right? Which I agree is kind of like limiting. Like I think there's other stories you can tell, but from a gameplay, from like what they've done with Zelda as an archetypal story, it makes sense, right? Because it's like, because his job is to embody courage and go through the whole thing, and like do it. Well, actually, isn't that Wind Waker's timeline? Was that
which one?
Not where you're necessarily dead, but where like was that the one where you like disappeared into the future and never came back, so like shit got weird and they had to sync the place?
Yeah.
You could do some interesting stuff, and I think honestly like Breath of the Wild is a step in that direction where they're like, oh yeah, you've already fucked up and lost again, basically. Now you have to like pick up the fucking pieces because all your friends are dead. That could be interesting. So here's the thing, like you can do interesting what ifs. It's because it's like, but it's the Triforce, right? And like, has anybody ever had 2 pieces? Like, I don't.
I mean, Hyrule Warriors, there's some weird ass shit, but
yeah, I don't know. We'll
Hyrule
see that.
Warriors...
Like, I think there could be stuff to do, but at the same time, I totally understand where they come from. Where it's like the whole like archetype thing is based on like archetypes and images and like archetype's the Jungian thing. So like, I kind of get where they're going for. Like, I think Dallas said it best. One where you could like switch and like the characters play differently and do stuff. That would be perfectly fine. And like, if some segments were better done as Zelda than as Link, and who knows, like, obviously no spoilers. I haven't beat the game yet, but I'm assuming, hey, spoiler, I'm gonna beat Ganon and rescue the princess. And so we've seen, sporty Zelda with her hair cut short in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. Well, yeah, but that's because you're Weird Axe and you want to subvert everything. Anyway, but we've seen a different look for Zelda, maybe more active, and like she could totally go out there and do stuff. That's what she was trying to do, but she was kind of bamboozled because it was like, but fuck, this is all for the hero of courage with his fucking magic sword. Damn it! Like she wanted to go out and solve Ganon and not rely on this weird pointy-eared mute scrub at all. Even though Link was just like, princess, listen, it's my job. And also, maybe we're banging, I don't know.
I've seen some dojins.
Yeah, well, like I said, everybody's character designs to this are great for lots of stuff. Anyway, but like, I could totally see, like I said, an aspect where like, hey, if all this shit is built to train the sword guy, where's all the apparatus to train the magic wisdom lady? Like, is it just assumed that because she's wisdom, she'll figure her shit out? Like, you could... Nice later. That's a good one. Yes. This image is just for our Discord. You should have been here live. It involves the phrase "grab destiny." But no, like I could totally see, like we said, the switch off where like you could actually, you know, like I said, have different characters solve different problems because some stuff is only suited to certain characters. And I don't know, like I said, I'm sure it's Japan stuff where, like, yeah, Link can't just be a girl because that would be weird and different. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But also, I feel like, I don't know, like, Japan does not have this social thing where it's cool and hip to be progressive.
Like, here's the thing, like, I think about being progressive that bugs me. Like, I don't think media should be progressive merely for the sake of being progressive. Mm-hmm. Like, I think...
And some people do.
Some people do. And I'm not going to say whether that is right or wrong, because, as I said, everyone is free to their opinions. But personally, like, I would rather think of the narrative first, whether or not, before considering whether something is progressive or not. And you know, as I said, Legend of Zelda has a veritable history, like going back to 1987 of doing this. And while it's okay to, you know, shake it up, change outlooks, I don't think it needs to be completely and utterly upheaved.
Well, okay, all right. So with that thought, though, how did Zero Dawn do in Japan? Is a question. I'm sure it did okay. Did it do less good? I don't know. Like, that's the thing you have to keep in mind. Markets. Nintendo is based in Japan, so they're thinking about Japan stuff. I know they do have some concessions for, like, Nintendo of America. So, like, there is some of that, but I don't, like, I always try to keep in mind other markets and mindsets when I'm thinking about stuff, right? Like,
oh god, it's night. That's right.
Just because
the fucking ground randomly.
some studios are like, oh, this worked out perfectly for us doing stuff. I don't know. Other studios might not think it does. But yeah, like I said, I'm not opposed to it. I don't know if Nintendo will go for it. I don't know if Nintendo goes for it, if people will like it, because it won't be the thing they want, because, like we said, it's not going to be done just for the sake of doing it. No, like, I mean, that's true, but that's just corporate. Like, corporate's full of excuses for why they do stuff, so they don't have to explain to you why they actually do stuff, which is usually really complex and kind of annoying. Well, I don't know. I mean, you can play a lady in 3 houses and have gay romance, or you can be a dude and have gay romance, I think. Anyway, I believe they've said that. You can have A-list supports with dudes as a dude and ladies as a lady. I haven't investigated that too deeply. I don't know if people will complain about that. But that's what I've heard and seen on images. So, like, I do know that Nintendo of America has a bad reputation with some of that shit, where, like, how they localize it. Also, yes, no, I mean, lots of Nintendo games have big gay energy as a sub-theme. Heck, you know, we're talking about Breath of the Wild cross-dressing, like, well, that's like, hey, Link is a gay icon now. Because that fucking outfit is everywhere. That's assuming Link wasn't a gay icon before, which I don't know. He's very slim and svelte.
Oh, that's right, I can charge the attack. Super
yeah, you
poke!
Can. You don't have to do any practice. You can do spin attacks from day one.
Link is aggressively confident.
Accurate, Dallas. I mean, have you seen him without a shirt?
You don't care.
No, I know it like this good, baby. Want to see me climb a mountain? Oh, does Paya have a special... Does she do something funny if you don't have a shirt on? I bet she does. Because she's embarrassed of you.
Paya... got it.
Well, like I said, I said this in chat, but I'll say it out loud. You know that Link. He's a guy who fucks. He's like Joker. Mm-hmm. You look at him and you're like, he fucks.
Like, on the whole thing, it's like, you mentioned, like, Zero Dawn and stuff, but as I said, Zero Dawn is the first game in its franchise. They've already established, always a female character. They could have started with a male character, and it probably would have done just as well. It's like, I don't know if, like, a character's, like, gender necessarily has, well, in my personal opinion, has anything to do whether or not the gamer is good or not. Especially in a game where Legend of Zelda, where the main protagonist never actually talks or has a personality.
I mean, he's got some facial expressions. He's got some...
Yeah, he can go, oh, and, ah!
Some of his expressions are a little sassy. If you play around with the selfie auction, you could do some fun stuff. Mm-hmm. I mean, and there's a very poignant when you, in, like I said, Twilight Princess, a game I love, and I will not let anybody shit talk it, no matter how big their YouTube channel is.
So it's like games
you stab a Ganon in the heart
and
in the face with a big hey yeah,
and Horizon Zero Horizon, yeah. I always how that goes. It's like, they're great games and they have female protagonists, but it's like, they're not great games just because they have a female protagonist.
No, and they're great because, from what I've played of it anyway, like, as a character, Aloy is great because of how she is as Aloy. Like,
yeah.
And Aloy has a very fully fleshed out character. We talked about this when I talked about playing Zero Dawn, where, like, I love how she just fucking talks to herself, because how else do you live that life?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Link, dead silent all the time.
And this is what I do like. I will say this.
I don't think does Link even screw. I mean, if you fall down a bottomless pit, I think he lets out a gasp. But if you you can jump off a cliff, and he says nothing. I can
just jump off a cliff right now. Hang on, I will confirm for science.
Like he's a stone cold badass. He will take a cliff dive and be like, "I'll be perfectly fine." At the
No,
last
no,
minute, I will activate my paraglider.
He will. He goes. "Hoo-ah!" And I broke my spear.
Whoops.
On a skeleton's back. But let's see here. What was I thinking? Oh, I remember now. But this is like something I do want to say I really do like about Breath of the Wild is it did a lot better job of actually giving Zelda a lot more character.
Yeah, we'll say that. There have definitely been some Zelda characterizations which are very not ideal. Like, we're talking about Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
That's despite that being called Legend of Zelda, the Twilight Princess is Midna, and she's your main MacGuffin lady. And boy, Midna's a very fleshed out character, who's also very, who is very plot important and powerful and does stuff. Like, I mean, it's all integrated into your mechanics as Link, but she is an active part of you doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like Zelda is literally trapped in the tower because once again, Ganon has pre-won for you and fucked some shit up.
Yeah. But
it depends on which it depends on which games, Dallas. Like, I'm trying to think. Link to the Past, 3D games probably, because she has a whole character thing in Ocarina of Time. That's a big deal. And we just talked about that. You know, she becomes badass Sheik in the interim. But like A Link to the Past, she just chills in the sanctuary and does nothing. She's a badass pirate lady in Wind Waker.
So, I
don't know. She is a bigger character in Skyward Sword, which is a game I've never played and I will play sometime. But
again, like I can't speak for Skyward Sword. I have not played it.
No, I also know that Skyward Sword was controversial as a game, so I don't know. And some of that's characterization based, but like she's much like kind of how Breath of the Wild does it. Like she is right when you start Skyward Sword, and like is a person with thoughts and feelings right away, which is good. Though I don't know, is that sometimes game designers learn the wrong lessons from how games do. Like I'll say this, like the comparison from Final Fantasy 12 to 13, like a lot of people, or at least a vocal number of people, I don't know if there were a lot of them, but a lot of people had complaints about how like, oh, 12 is too much like an MMO. It's too, open world and you go whatever and you don't even like go into a separate battle screen or whatever. Hey, whatever. I loved it. Gambits are cool.
I thought it was cool as fuck. What are these people talking
about? It was good, but lots of people didn't like it because it wasn't Final Fantasy, which is a thing we've talked about before. So when you go to 13, where every map is completely linear and, bosses have, or not bosses, but all battles have the little screen zoom in and you're like, oh, you guys took the wrong criticism to heart. Like, you guys took the response to that. And so technically, Skyward Sword was the last mainline console Zelda that they did. So, well, yeah, but I stopped playing before I got there, so it doesn't count. Everything up as far as I played was Rails. So, anyway. But so I wonder if because Skyward Sword was the last like mainline console one they did, that because that was controversial, they like listened to some things about stuff and like learned wrong lessons with characterization. I don't know. We'll see. Like Breath of the Wild is
yay! I fucking did it.
Nice. Breath of the Wild is pretty good writing wise. So, and like I said, so comparing the two types of origins of Link, right? Where like Breath of the Wild is like, you are Link. You are already experienced, but some shit happened and you forgot all your stuff.
Get wrecked, scrub.
As opposed to like Wind Waker or Twilight Princess or Link to the Past. Why, yes, those are the key games Zelda games I've played the most of. Where you're just like, yo, Link, you're an adult now, I guess, or possibly still a child, but you're cool enough for us to make you the protagonist. Here's a tunic and a sword. Fucking save the world.
I think this is the thing I liked about here's the thing I liked about Twilight Princess. For like a good part of the game, you're not even like rescuing the princess. You're trying to find your friend, and you get caught up with this fucking princess.
You get caught up in the meta plot as just a dude, and you're like, I'm just a ranch hand in the humble village in the south. And then it's like, yo, Link, you're descended from the ancient hero's bloodline and need the power of courage. And here's a Twilight imp, and she's gonna help you do cool stuff. And she's really fucking hot. Now obtain that Master Sword. Power that shit up. Power that sword up. Hit people with it. Get MacGuffins.
I'm gonna tell you right now, my favorite thing of fucking Twilight Princess, double claw shots. Fuck all of y'all.
Double claw shots, it's amazing. Oh. But yeah, so, like, I that's another thing about storytelling. I like that Breath of the Wild is like, oh yeah, no, you're a fucking royal knight, you're an actual professional. And just Ganon completely fucked over your plans, and now you have terrible amnesia from how you died and stuff, and all your friends are dead. Let's not forget this. That's something I feel like I said, I mentioned this earlier joking about the Zora, but it's like, goddamn, guys.
Spinner is great, but you can't use the spinner on regular ground. You have to have the gears, and that makes me sad.
I'm like, but guys, hey, here's just a thought for you. So you've had 100 years to deal with your grief. I just woke up yesterday and all my friends are dead. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Well, you also have amnesia, so you ain't missing them that much.
Yeah, I know, you don't, but it's like, you kind of piece this shit together and you're like, oh, ooh, this hurts. This is a little bit of a deep cut. All your fucking Mifa flashbacks are like, oh, yeah, just fucking stab me in the face, why don't you?
Yeah, the Mifa ones,
but
I can't protect her if she's already dead!
Rip. No, she's dead now. She gets to protect you.
Literally.
But yeah, so like the writing and stuff is really good. It's just, I think they're doing interesting things. Breath of the Wild, mechanically at least, shows you that like they're willing to experiment with mechanics and story. So I don't know. We'll see what the sequel does. Like, because like doing a direct sequel will be really interesting.
For the love of God, give me the lantern back.
Yes, Lantern is good. Like I said, just now that you've built the engine, put some classics back in, put some stuff back in, learn the right lesson, and like hook shots or claw shots, and give me a musical thing. That's something I feel like I missed. Is like, because we've talked about how great the Zelda music is, I feel like there's no magic music integration in this, which is kind of sad. Like, I can't even mournfully howl as a wolf to unlock a cool music thing.
This reminds me, I need to get the fucking wolf amiibo, because I need Wolf Link.
Oh yeah, you can summon him with you.
But,
I think that's just a storytelling trope.
Mm-hmm.
Because just, like, you clearly talk because you gesture and give answers to people, but they just don't give you lines. I think that's just because that's how Link is, and if Link talked, it would be weird. Like, if Link had dialogue, people would be like, #NotMyLink.
Pretty much. Also, though, shout out to this. I'm super glad they made Zelda a nerd.
Everybody in this game's huge fucking nerds, except for Link, who's a jock. Jock Link, dunking on people. He's like, what the fuck is my magic? He does. He eats big. Big gains, everybody. He's eating some of those big gains. Which is, by the way, I don't think I've ever said this, but, like, I think I've, like, talked about, like, that picky eater test and stuff before. My palate's a little, like, in real life, it's a little more limited, because there's lots of stuff that I'm just like, I'm not enthused about this. I don't want to eat this. And there's a very few things where I'm like, why do people eat this? This is gross. I want to die. But I love cooking in games. I think my connection in Discord flickered out a little bit, but I was talking about how I like to cook in games. So Breath of the Wild has that, and I'm like, oh, here's a cook pot that works. Hold on, I'm going to spend 5 minutes refilling my meal slots with just some shit I found lying around. Here's a fish I've had for like 2 days. Here's some fucking rock salt. I feel bad about meat, though. Like, that's a thing I would eat in real life, but I feel bad about killing many small animals to get their meats. I'll just kill big asshole animals. Let's see, how long are we going?
Oh, that was water! Okay, I'm safe.
We're going for like an hour, almost an hour and a half. I wanna pause the recording to take a quick breakdown, and then we'll talk about some other stuff, unless you have some more stuff to talk about with Harbor Darble.
I don't think it's anything that I haven't said before. I think. Let's see here. I'll do a quick rundown though, so people know. As I said, I do want an actual Zelda game, but I don't want it in lieu of a necessarily Legend of like a Legend of Zelda game. I want it to kind of be its like own standalone time. I want it to be the Metal Gear Rising of Legend of Zelda. Like, that's what I want out of a Princess Zelda game. Something that's different, that does not constrained by the same formula. Breath of the Wild, like, enjoy the music because it's like called background music, and the music in the game is very much in the background. It's something that lends to the atmosphere. I think it's something that by itself is not that great, but in the moment it's perfect. I said Divine Beast, cool, but yeah, I would rather have dungeons. And along with dungeons, I'd rather have gadgets. And I would like just a lot bit of like slice of life gadgets. Like I would appreciate, like the hook shots or like a rope. Oh my god, a rope.
Yeah, just a thing of like, oh hey, there's a cliff over there. I really don't want to paraglide to it. Can I just shoot a fucking rope over to it? Just scooch up there a little bit?
Honestly, if Platinum wanted to make a high speed fucking Sheikah fucking game, I'd be like all on that, alright? Here. Like, me personally, I did not have any difficulties with, like, the difficulty.
Reminds me, I also need to buy Bayonetta 2 on the Switch.
I hit these fucking... There. Yeah.
That... I don't know what dark power Nintendo did, but that was a deep cut for me when they were like, Bayonetta 2! Coming out, exclusive for the Wii U. I'm like, what the fuck? That hurt. That hurt me deep.
But,
because I love Bayonetta.
Let's see here. Were there any other words I wanted to say about it? Also, I kind of like, the shrine puzzles are okay, but like, god, there's a fuck ton of them.
Yeah.
It's like, I miss the, I can't remember if this was a thing or not, but I just miss the thing of, like, you go fight, you see a chest, you go find it, it's like, oh, it's a heart piece. I'm like, yeah! Or the quests for the heart piece and stuff, and I don't... Like, I still like it. Like, I like Breath of the Wild enough that I'm playing it... Oh, that's how the door opens. I'm playing it, like, for the second time, like, right now. But also... Oh, here's something I did want to mention. Fucking Hyrule Castle is terrifying.
Yeah, it's a spook zone. Also, can everybody hear me okay? Because,
You're breaking up a bit. You're breaking up a lot.
Yeah, Discord's freaking out a little bit. We need to take that intermission.
Alright, well, take that intermission. I'm gonna say Breath of the Wild, for me, personally, 8.5 out of 10.
Alright, so that's an hour and a half of Breath of the Wild. Some of that'll compress down. We're back. We took a brief
Alright, one last thing that I wanted to mention that, I find kind of keck, is these fucking monks or elders are complete bullshit with some of their trials. Because, like, a lot of them are some of the ones that are, the puzzles. But there's just some where, like, I remember specifically one in the Gerudo where it's like, there's just this Gerudo just standing in front of the fucking door and ain't gonna move. You have to go do this side quest to get her a drink, and then you go in and it says, yes, you have passed my trial. I'm like, bitch, you've been there for 100 years. How did you know there was gonna be a Gerudo out there the entire fucking time?
Yeah, some of the shrine quest shrines, which are just like, complete this quest to get access to the shrine, and like, hey, here's a free treasure chest and a spirit orb, and you're like, okay, so getting myself struck by lightning, that's a test. Getting a guy a drink, that's not a test. And that's another thing, like, I talk about some of the quest design is a little ambiguous, because it's like, one of them was like, let me sing you a song about this tower. Something, the shadow, an arrow, the sun. I'm like, alright, I think I get what you're going for, but there's no specific details in that, so I'm like, I don't understand where or when you want me to do this. Also, haven't quite figured out the Spirit Dragon, guys. Not sure there. I know I need one of them to give me some shards of his horn so I can upgrade one of my clothes. Not really sure how to do that. I know sometimes... I don't know if it's directly because I jumped on him and bounced off his back like the whole way down, but... Oh, literally just hit his horn with a stick? Okay. I've gotten some scales just rolling down their back into the water, which is funny.
Oh, did you find the corrupted dragon?
No, haven't seen that one yet.
So there's something that I found, like, it's on the big snow-covered mountain. Just climb it.
I do have to do a side quest about some Leviathan bones, which will probably be cool world building, but also be dumb.
I'm picking up, man.
And I do know, I assume because they're called spirits that's the thing for the Thunder Shrine. Because it's like, when the spirits have come home to roost, I'm like, okay. But I'm not sure yet. I'll figure that one out later. I'll Google it later. If I can't figure it out. That's how we solve all problems in Legend of Zelda, where you're like, I don't understand what you're trying to tell me. Internet, what is Nintendo trying to tell me?
And like I said, like, I think this is, like, people who do that, fine, but as I said, like, personally, I always find that to my detriment, because it means that I'm not using my problem-solving skills or whatnot.
I don't know. I use problem-solving skills a lot, so I'm like, what? Like, well, honestly, that's part of how I approach problems, right? Like, I'm not good if you give me half the information. Like, if you give me the complete process of what you want me to do, I can do that. And if it's a thing you can solve multiple ways and you just need me to figure it out, like getting from point A to point B in Breath of the Wild, I'm okay with that. But, like, some of them are just like, okay, so, I don't know, maybe my brain's not rigged for whatever kind of puzzle this is, so it didn't click to me. Am I just supposed to, like, push bricks for 4 hours until I brute force this? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that.
How many... Does anyone know off the top of their head how many Korok seeds there are total?
A lot. I don't know. Dallas is typing. 1,000.
Oh my god.
Fuck me. No.
Yeah.
I want to die. I hear that number, I'm like, I'm dead. I'm dying. Kill me now. Oh, it's only 100? Okay, that's better. That's still shitty, but it's better. No, it is 1,000. Okay. Like, you gave me a brief spark of hope.
Dallas, you psyched him out. You gave him false hope.
No, it's 1,000. Fuck. Tuck me in, let me die.
Yeah, that's the thing. You find 1,000, you don't even get any something great for it.
No, we only need like 300 something. Well, I mean, that's good because that means to get your max inventory space, you don't have to do all of them. So maybe if some of them are hard, you can skip them. That reminds me, I need to go back to the Korok Woods and do some of their trials.
Oh god, that's water. Oh, it's wet.
Anyway,
wait, no, water is not wet. I correct myself. I am now wet.
Semantics. Let's talk about other stuff.
Okay, yeah, sure.
After we spend an hour and a half doing this, so yeah, I don't know if people people really want to hear about the other stuff I did in my week. So, like I said the 3 things I did were play Breath of the Wild, wrote my L5R campaign, and which I'm still working on, and then died. So I don't know if people want to like.
Well, tell me. I want to hear about your L5R campaign. How'd that come along? Tell me.
That's good. We're doing stuff. Working through some things. As is usual for like this type of writing, like I find this for lots of. By the way, people are now talking in chat about 3 houses. I have no comment on that because I'm not going to get it right away because I'm fucking broke now. Not really, but I don't have a lot of cash and I want to hold it for stuff. Accidentally, Axe. That would be a full-blown intentional. But no, so I think there are a couple different ways you can kind of design campaigns in lots of different settings, right? Like I don't know if we're gonna get in there, you know.
Axe, Omega's always wanted players. I've wanted players. Calm your shit down.
No, it's just like, well, I mean, technically, if we're talking about Mages of War, we're like, no, fuck you, buddy cop. But technically, we're working around other stuff. But no, so I think there's a couple different philosophies when building campaigns. My Mages of War campaign is the complete improv, whatever the fuck. You know, I literally made random tables for this campaign, right? And there's some people in some games you can run entirely like that. And just be like, the dice say stuff, and some stuff happened. I rolled a couple different things and picked what I wanted. Some different stuff can be more like a gazetteer type thing, which is what I'm kind of going for with L5R right now. That's what my Eclipse Phase campaign, which is not finished and technically never finished writing. I got somewhere in the 3rd act. Dark Heresy's fun.
Dark Heresy.
Catholic Space Nazis. I want to do some 40k RPG sometime, but that's a whole different bag. They'll buy the same company.
Mm-hmm.
The good ones, anyway. I hear interesting opinions about the new one that GW funded. What is it? Wrath and Glory. Like, it has some positives, but also it's got a really wonky release schedule, and, like, people are like, is this actually a thing still? And the people who got the license are like, we're working on it, we swear! Anyway, so gazetteer-type stuff, where it's like, okay, you've got a broad set of goals, go here, do some stuff, don't care what order you do it in, and I'll improv the rest. So, because this is going to be my first real big campaign in this system of L5R, Legend of the Five Rings, it's like, I'm doing a lot of stuff where I'm like, this mechanic seems neat, I want to interact with this thing, or I want to interact with this part of the setting. So there's lots of just me experimenting in the writing and figuring out, like one section I wrote a while ago is like, well, so the best way to handle this problem is to do it as a mass combat, which is a whole subsystem. So, like, I'll write it out to be a mass combat, and then I think to myself, but you don't know who your players are yet or what their characters, so what if they are all courtiers and all suck at mass combat? Which they shouldn't, because technically some of your mass combat actions can be like with command and stuff with social skills, basically. Not just necessarily military skills, but even so, I'm like, what if they don't feel like doing a mass combat because they decided to go to this plot point first and are bad at it? Well, then they can do like a social thing behind the scenes to like coordinate the fight. But the easiest way is to use these mechanics and like play around with like, okay, you can do this stuff with this system and do this stuff with the other system. I read on like the forums that some people were like, man, there's only like 4 actions you can take in a mass combat. It seems kind of samey. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, the target numbers are small. The skills are pretty spread out. Like, they're not just one skill. And, you know, I don't know. It seems like it can be pretty flexible if you actually just write about it. Which is the thing with this edition of L5R, because it's by Fantasy Flight, and it's not the same as the Genesis or Star Wars dice systems, but it's in the similar vein, right? We've talked about this. Like, it's got its own mechanic thing going on, but it's got, like, opportunities, which are, like, advantages and whatnot. So it's like, no, you have to be in the narrative here. You have to actually think about what's going on in a story sense, and, like, that's how you actually, you figure out what you're doing story, and then you figure out the mechanics. It's not exactly like how Apocalypse World games are explicitly phrased, but it's still very much the style of game, which is like fiction first, which is a great lesson I took from those games. And something people out there, I don't know, some people have like really mixed opinions about Apocalypse World stuff, maybe because at least the original Apocalypse World written by Vincent Baker is like in your face, talking about sex and death and saying the word fuck in it and stuff.
Yeah,
and that weirds some people out. But it's very much written to be in that genre, right? It's like
Tank Girl and shit.
Yeah, it's like, you know, edgy post-apocalyptic comics, or it's like almost like an HBO television drama, right? Where like you're gonna see some people die horribly and you're gonna see some titties. You know, that kind of stuff. That's the genre it's emulating. Original Mad Max kind of stuff. So like, of course it's very in your face, and it is a book that communicates its tone to you in its writing, which is a cool effect. But one thing I learned from those games is fiction first, and everybody should keep that in mind for your systems, right? Whenever you're doing RPG stuff. Oh, and hey, somebody just posted a video talking about the L5R card game with some old card art. If you ever want to have interesting thoughts about stuff, look at old L5R card art. Now I've got to post one of them that I have saved for this explicit reason, because it's a thing. All right, Lucky, you can look at this while I talk.
Is gonna make cinnamon rolls tomorrow. I say, why not make cinnamon rolls today?
I don't know. It's probably not the right time for it. Also, hey, have this image. Yeah, I was about to say, it's probably like the middle of the night.
That's no excuse. That's no excuse, helicopter. I have
but it'll get hot and stuff. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway, so fiction first is basically the concept of fiction first in Apocalypse World is like, just narrate what you're doing, and when it becomes a mechanic, then you make a roll. Fair. If it doesn't become a mechanic, then you just keep narrating, right? Which is a thing I think lots of games could learn from, to just be like, no, you just keep going with the game until, you know, it becomes a rule. So that's how skill checks in L5R are phased. And I still wrote an intro type adventure, which I could run the beginner's box, and I might still adapt that adventure for like the setup of my campaign, because it's a really good way to get like a group together and set up some shit. I don't know yet. I haven't decided. But I had to write my own intro level adventure, because I'm like, just running the beginner's box isn't going to teach me anything, because the beginner box games are like really basic, like baby tier shit. Like, oh, this is literally your first role-playing game kind of stuff. So I'm like, at least some of the people I know I'm going to be in this with are going to be like too advanced class for that. We need like 201 or 301, not 101. But the way the book phrases making a check, the actual checklist in the rulebook is like, step 1, the player describes what they're doing and their goals. Step 2, based on what they said, pick a skill and a ring approach which matches what they narrated. So I'm like, no, this is perfect. So if everything is like they said, like that fiction first. So you figure out what you're doing. If you're Like, not in a combat scene or what, like, structured time is a little different because that's got some more mechanical interactions, but in general, if you're like, I want to hit that I want to hit a guy with my sword, you're like, okay, how are you hitting with your sword? I'm going to just fucking double hand my katana and carve this guy in twain. Okay, make me martial arts melee fire. Because the fire element is associated with overwhelming approaches, among other things. Which is, the fact that they work in the 5 rings and like elemental philosophy into the core game mechanics just tickles me pink because I love that kind of esoterica shit. And hopefully you guys at home in my group, including Lucky, are okay with it too, because I love the setup for this game a lot.
Oh no, I've always been fine with that. Like, I am a person that I adapt my playstyle to the being used, because that's the thing. Sometimes it's not necessarily like, oh wait, I gotta explode this. There we go. It's not so as, you know, there's role playing and then there's role playing. And honestly, it depends on what fucking system that you're using that people start to lean towards. Like talking, you know, Apocalypse World or other games like, you know, that are powered by the apocalypse, you know, like Urban Shadows, the Sprawl, all those other ones. It's like, yeah, like I can go on just narrating what I'm doing, and I'll just keep going until Mega says, "Wait, you're gonna have to roll something for that." I'm like, okay.
I'm like, oh, that sounds like you want to seize by force there, Chief.
Yep.
And like, okay. So yeah, that's kind of how L5R is framed, at least in like most narrative scenes. Like I said, specific conflict types have a little bit more structure, but in general, it's like, shit, I'm talking to him. I want to like, I don't know, can I just calm this guy down? I'm like, okay, that's maybe a command, but you're being charming, so that's like a water thing. That's cool. And so Dallas asked this in chat, and I'll say this for everyone on the internet. If you were listening and you were like, oh, hey, you guys play Tabletop, I want in on some of that action. Basically just be in our Discord and be listening in hopefully like a couple of weeks when we take a break from Mages of War, and I'm like, okay, hi, I could use some players. Do you want to volunteer to join a game? And we're going to run my intro level adventure because, like I said, I need to learn some stuff about the game and like get a feel for how it plays with players. I need to, it's with pre-gens, for instance, so I need to like feel out what the base tier level of player characters is if I want to like give starting XP or something. And then
I can tell you right now, like I don't know what I'm gonna be for. Like I don't know like really how to play the game or how like it fully is, but I know I want to be a scorpion, and I want to use chain weapon, and that's where I'm starting from.
Yeah. So it's like, I want to just like throw it out there and feel it out and be like, yo, okay. And then everybody can see what kind of player characters do what. There's up to 7 pre-gens, so theoretically I could run 7 people at once. I don't know if I want to do that. I've done big game groups before. It gets very tedious, and if you do that, you very much have to play okay, you have to fucking stick together rule. Like, you have to just be like, no, you guys can't go your own separate ways for this scene. You have to hang out together, otherwise we'll be here for 5 hours. Well, yeah, good rule, Dallas. Never split the party. Sometimes that's okay. When there's like 2 of them, or 3 of them, that's fine. Whatever. One guy goes off on his own and does stuff. That's okay. If you have big groups, no, dude, like, you don't have enough time for that shit. Everybody has to stay together. Ooh, 13. I've done some Halo homebrew runs over IRC where I ran for like 8 people, but that was all text-based, so it was a lot more controlled. But like I said, theoretically we have 7 pre-gens, 1 for each great clan. Funny how that works. Lucky is called dibs on the Scorpion. Unfortunately, I think I spent all your starting money, so I can't go back and give you chain weapons now, but
it's okay.
We'll figure it out later. There are chain weapons in the game now. It's fun. Though I'm waiting for that PDF to come out. Because they're in the latest book, and like I've said before, FFG is kind of weird about how they release PDF stuff. And our buddy Marth, who goes by Sate on the Discord, has said he's most interested in the Phoenix character, which is the only magic character. They're a Kaito monk. Because the setup is that you're going to a wedding, and I'm like, you guys aren't the priest, so there's no real reason for them to send a magic samurai. And yes, they're a magic samurai. They're Shugenja. They're cool. Invocations are cool. We'll get into like all that stuff in a teaching game. But just so, like I said, my campaign design has really been like, I want to, yeah, it's 1 from everyone. Dallas. So there's well, this is pre-timeline, so there's no Mantis Great Clan. So it's Lion. Well, I should just do it in alphabetical. It's Crab, Crane, Alphabet, Dragon. No, there's no spider anymore, Dallas. We're back in time now, and lots of people say the Spider Clan wasn't a good idea. That's a different deep cut fight about lore that we're not going to have right now. No, I said send, so. But anyway, yeah. But yeah, it's all the 7 core great clans represented in the game. For my campaign, I've got some recommendations, which would be like, you can play some minor clan schools, or maybe some Imperial clan schools. Or Imperial family. But that's, like I said, a different thing. Just, this has given me an excuse to, like I said, figure out mechanics and stuff. Like, for the section I'm working on now, I wrote some really short, like, homebrew rules for naval combat, because you're going to be in boats, and I'm like, the game doesn't really support any specific mechanics for this, so I'm going to write some short rules, and maybe I'll turn it into, like, a full-blown homebrew later, but it's like a mass combat, but there are different expectations, because you're on a boat. So, it's...
He's got a sword! Yeah! Sorry.
So, yeah, yeah, lucky interruptions, but, like, I've mentioned this before, I think, last week, that, like, some of it was influenced by me replaying Okami a little bit, but, like, I've put a lot of supernatural influences in, like, some of these later ones have been, like, very mundane. Like I mentioned, I did one that would be easy to solve by mass combat. I'm like, that's pretty mundane. That's good. That's good that sometimes you guys have to solve regular people problems. But then there's other stuff like, yo, this kid's got weird dreams. And you're like, oh shit, now we gotta solve dream problems. Or like, I don't know, there's weird stuff going on in this village. And that's kind of the setup. And I read a lot about Japanese folk stories and folk tales. Hey, I mean, Yumedo is a thing, the realm of dreams. You could be dream warriors. I don't know if you guys are actually going to be dream warriors, but there's some dream stuff in there. But again, that's future stuff. So that's just kind of where I'm at, where I'm just quietly chipping away at the campaign outline and just working on some stuff. And like moving on and being like, oh, that's neat. I'll do this system. I'll do that system. They'll put this reward in, this challenge kind of stuff. The more thing I'm concerned with, like I said, running a setup game is like, okay, I need to let my players practice playing this game, and I need to practice GMing this game. And I need to get a feel for like how hard stuff should be and how the mechanics work, because like I don't know that yet. I don't know what a high level challenge in L5R is like because I haven't run it. I don't know what the appropriate starting level for characters is because I haven't run it. So like, and I haven't had players play it. So the pre-gens I made are completely vanilla, no EXP spent. I've heard from people who have played it that's a little anemic, but I want to let players play at that level and meet GM at that level, so I actually understand what the power level is, and if I need to be like, okay, y'all can have, like, 10 starting XP or something. Those are lessons you can't learn just writing and theory crafting. You have to actually play the game at some point. But yeah, so if you're interested in either the pre-gen game or possibly the campaign, because the other thing is that I need to do a game with new players so that I can see if they're right for the group and screen them. This would be through Discord, and basically just hang around in Discord. We gotta, like I said, work through our Mages of War campaign. We got a breakpoint I planned. And like, just sit around and I'll be like, yo, you can show up. We'll figure out a time. We usually game like Sunday or Monday, but sometimes other days. And like, to figure out scheduling. Good old scheduling. Also, I'm kind of shocked because lots of people are like, oh, I'm super interested. And like, I feel like I've been talking about this for months. Where were you? Where have you people been?
You also have to, well, to be fair,
I know we're live right now, so there's like an active element of communication.
Yeah, I don't know how many you people actually listen to What's Up all the way through.
Accurate. Well, let's see. There's about two. Let's see. I think the last one was like 250 views, as opposed to the last Let's Talk FGO. Not the brand new one, but the last one that was like gone for a full week is like 1,500. So it is a smaller proportion, but still, it's just kind of funny the interactions we have with the audience, where like I'll casually mention a thing or I'll talk about something for like 5 minutes and like, man, nothing. But like, oh, we're live, get some people in there, get some direct feedback, then it's like, oh, hey, okay. And I talked a lot. Where's my water go? Is my water gone? I think my water's gone.
You should get another one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take 5 and get another one. Lucky, you vamp about whatever for like 5 seconds.
Unfortunately, like I said, I am interested in the El-Melloi campaign. I was interested enough that I actually bought a physical copy of the Mem book, which I will be using so I can look up things constantly while we play, because that's how Lucky do. Now I'm gonna chop down a tree. Can I just mention how much I like that you can actually just cut down trees and use them as a fucking bridge? Because that's what I'm doing right now. God, I don't even know why I'm over here. I just know I can go over here. But yeah. So like, especially like talking about like role playing and versus role playing, I'm always a little leery about playing with new people because there's what I want to say. There's two types of like players that that you can generalize their play style. There's active players and passive players. Active players are the guys who like set the plans, they do the stuff, they charge the enemy, they do the thing, they Leroy Jenkins shit. And passive players are the ones, who like follow behind them, like don't like a little bit more quiet, and are fine with like other people taking charge, but when they have to do the thing, they're like, all right, I'm gonna do the thing, and you're like, cool. Like this is like I've mentioned this before, but the reason why that Marth and I make such a great buddy cop pair is that I'm an active player and he's a passive player. Like, trust me, Marth knows like all the rules and he can do fucking crazy ass shit, but he's completely content to just sit in the background and do crazy ass shit. He doesn't worry about making plans. He doesn't worry about like logistics. He's like, I'm here to fucking oh, that's my axe. I don't want to use that. I'm here to, hang out with the captain, kill stuff, and, get scared of flying. While me, I am all like, all right, I need to make, like, a plan. I need to make a backup plan. Now I need to get supplies to plans. Now I have to go do a social encounter so that I can, get all the goods that I need so we can carry out this fucking plan. And Mars will be with me the entire fucking time, over my fucking, left shoulder. Because the XO is over my right shoulder. That's how things work.
And importantly about him, it's... by the way, I'm back.
Yeah.
When you're ready to pull the trigger and you're like, oh my god, Marth, do the thing! He's like, okay, I'm gonna do the thing. And he's super excited and he's ready to do it. But
yeah,
you wouldn't have realized that 5 minutes before that moment.
Mm-hmm. It's like, because like I said, like, in our buddy cop, it's real easy to share the spotlight. When Marth does something cool... It's cool. It's like, this is his moment. He's gonna pull out his fucking, like, 3-shot revolvers, and he's gonna just fucking down mages, and we're just be like, and you're gonna be like, oh my god.
So I'll say this, you say he doesn't like playing or whatever. He does, but he does quietly. He, like, quietly buys things and sits on them until it's like, oh, I'm gonna do the thing now. And then you're like, dude, did you just kill 2 dudes with 2 bullets? And you're like, well, no, that's what he did. Those guys are very dead now.
Well, the point I'm getting at is that's why I'm always a little worried about bigger groups, because like with bigger groups that means you're gonna have your groups are gonna be split. You're gonna have either more people who want to do things and want to take things in a certain direction, which can lead to party conflict. Not OOC party conflict. I mean, not in character party conflict, but out of character party conflict. People, basically start yelling about things we want to do. The greatest example, in which got me on this train of thought, is me playing with Ron, our ever-present guy. Like, I used to Ron used to be like play a fuck ton of tabletop with us, but unfortunately, after I would say like a pretty bad incident between him and I, he kind of dropped off the map with it.
Well, also he was super busy with his life a lot. We've gone back and forth and stuff with him, but yeah, we definitely were playing a lot with him, and then we had to take a break, and like he wasn't available for some of that stuff.
Yeah, so, but like, cause Ron was an active player, like too, like he put his plans in. We'd have to butt heads on like methods and ideologies, and like one time there was like this was back in the time we were still fucking using Skype, like just pages upon pages of us yelling at each other. Yelling through the internet's not that, man, but we were heated. So, like, anytime, like, in those new plans, I'm like,
Well, that's also why we beta test. I'm like, I have to see if people are okay with things. Luckily, I think L5R at least has some decent setups for that, because there are social attributes in the game, and there's mechanics, and there's like, I can totally be like, hey, dude, did you know that abandoning your friends to go do your own thing is like super dishonorable? You want to do that? You want to do that to yourself? And technically, it's perfectly playable. Having low honor is technically a drawback. If your honor drops too low, you get mandatory disadvantages where people are like, oh, you pick up their like disdain for a tentative Bushido and stuff like that, where it's like, or if your glory, which is kind of your fame level, drops too low, you pick up like infamy, like people are like, that guy's really shitty. He's a really shitty person. And it's like, so you can be a perfectly functional character who kind of cruises in that middle range of honor, or you can just be like, fuck it, I'll take the disadvantages and I'll just, tank myself. But, like, being known as a shitty person and being a not honorable person will still technically hurt you, which is where part of the conflict is in the game, because ideally, you should be able to do everything in accordance with Bushido and, be all honorable and stuff. But reality often gets in the way, so I've had a lot of fun basically writing it so that there are easy solutions to problems, and then there are honorable solutions to problem, and they are not the same. Like, there are several situations where you could shortcut a situation by just, this guy, if he had an accident and fell off a bridge, our problems would be solved. But, hey, guess what? Honor is internal. And so your honor score always knows what you did. So that's going to hurt your honor score if you just shove people off bridges. And it will probably hurt your friends' honor scores if they know you pushed somebody off a bridge. Which means challenging that guy to a duel on the bridge instead is way more honorable. But, exactly, Dallas. But that means, you're going to have to be in a life or death fight with 3-foot razor blades. So, and some people have said that this edition of L5R is not as gritty and deadly as they want it to be. I think it is, though, especially the way some of the dueling mechanics do. Well, El-Melloi, there is a new ninjutsu technique called Deceitful Strike, which lets you spend an opportunity in a duel to make it look like when you kill a guy, it was an accident. So, that's right, there's a sneaky pants technique, so you can accidentally, quote-unquote, kill guys and get away with it. It's pretty funny. A lot of these techniques are really interesting. Oops, he fell. Though, actually, in the way duel mechanics are described, because there's different stakes, right? If you're doing, like, a classic Iaijutsu duel, there's, like, 2 first strike, 2 first blood, 2 the death, and stuff like that. So, like, in a duel 2 first strike, where your goal is to just hit the guy, like, tap him a little, an accidental death is usually treated like a murder, because that was a gross overkill of your skill. In a duel 2 first blood, killing the opponent is an unfortunate accident, because that happens sometimes. And in a duel to the death, obviously that's the whole goal of the duel. So it's like, you got a lot of these interesting kind of rules and regs that come out. So yeah, a lot of the game is... Another thing, I did a whole video on this, so you can check it on our channel. I've got a whole bunch of L5R videos that I do every once in a while, so, hey, check those out, give them more views. But, one of the other fundamental character conflicts is between your Giri, your duty, and your ninjo, your human desire. So every character has a duty, which is what their lord or their family or whatever expects them to do. Like, say you're a bushi, say you're a warrior-type samurai, because not all samurais are fighters. Most samurai own a wakizashi. Not everybody's a fighter. But if you're a bushi, your giri, your duty might be to be a yojimbo and, like, safeguard a specific other character. Or to guard a specific location. Or, like, lead troops. Alright? Well, then what's your ninja? What's your human desire? What do you want to do with your life? Maybe you want to write a book. Maybe you want to secure a future for with the person you love, which is, like, a huge deal in Rokugan, because... romance is not frowned upon, but love matches are rare because marriage is a political tool for the noble caste. So you get all that kind of drama. Or, maybe you want to kill somebody for revenge, or maybe you want to invent a new technique or something. Well, that puts you in conflict with your duty, or it should anyway. Like, you should be deliberately writing these to have internal conflict. Because the players write them. So you should be like, okay, my duty is to be Yojimbo and protect this person with my life. My desire in life is to get bloody revenge on somebody else. So, like, that puts you in conflict. If the subject of your revenge is, like, standing across the street and is like, yo, I'm here, and you're like, I'm gonna get him, but then you gotta be like, wait, my duty says I have to stay here and protect my charge, who won't go over that bridge and fight that guy. There's a lot of fighting on bridges, apparently. So you have this internal conflict, right, where you have to decide, do I sacrifice my desire for duty or my duty for desire? Technically, the most samurai thing is to sacrifice your desire for duty, but obviously, you know, in the moment, what will you do? Will you fight that guy on that bridge in the moonlight? I don't know. We'll see. Another interesting thing is, like, all the great... Well, every group of characters, like, all the clans, minor clans, great clans, the Imperial family, they have tenets of Bushido they favor and disfavor, which really colors your character, because it affects your honor losses and gains. Lucky's not bored by this. He's just yawning because we're constantly tired.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't think... It didn't occur to me that it might be interpreted that way.
No, I'm like... That's also what I'm thinking, like, I'm pretty sure Lucky isn't bored by this conversation because we love tabletop conversations, and we have had whole episodes where we talk for, like, 2 hours about Mages of War, which is, like, the most niche topic.
It really is.
But we love to talk about it. What was I talking about? Oh, like, tenets of Bushido. So, like, I mentioned this. The Scorpion Clan. Their favorite tenet is loyalty. So this means if you do something that is against loyalty, you take a big hit to your honor. Like, it hurts your honor score a lot because you're supposed to be loyal. But consequently, if you sacrifice for loyalty, you gain more honor because you're doing the thing that you think is more honorable. Scorpion have a double whammy. They disfavor both honor and sincerity. So if you do something dishonorable, like shank a guy in the back, you lose less honor for it because your clan teaches that, hey, listen, doing things quote-unquote the right way or the honest way aren't as important as doing things because we told you to. Scorpion have a bad reputation of being shifty edgelords. They are the Machiavelli faction, and they have lots of shinobi, because ninjas are a different thing. They can be cool, and, like, there are good... I've even seen some really good Scorpion player characters. Lots of clans have stereotypes, though, which are like, you could take this too far. Like, Lucky, I trust. I trust that Lucky could actually play, like, a dutiful shadowman with chains, because he just wants to throw chains and do whatever. That's fine.
I do.
So, like, I don't know. There's the weighted chain. There's the chain with a knife on the end. I think there's a third one.
I'm probably going just with the standard weightage.
Oh, right. There's the Kusari Gama, which is there's a sickle on the chain.
Yeah, that's 2-edge.
But yeah, like, so, like, I feel like I've known Lucky a lot. I've gamed with him a lot. I can trust him to not be an asshole with his character concept. And unfortunately, with tabletop games, if you're new to this or you've been out of the game for a while, that is not something you can take for granted. You cannot always trust people not to be assholes with their character concepts. So sometimes you have to police people.
Well, that's the thing. I was talking about active. Like I like to have my agendas, but I want my agendas to fit within the scope of the narrative. Like, Mages of War, for example. As I said, we're playing the Not African campaign of World War I. And it's not going exactly like it did in in actual history, and I'm placing my character goals upon those things, potentially, further diverging those things. But I'm still maintaining the same goals of what we need to do in the campaign. And,
right, and you could have played being a commanding officer who, there's only one other player, but you have command authority over him. There's a whole chain of command thing. You could be an asshole about that, but you are not. In fact, out of character, you're very respectful to Martha, and you're like, are you okay with this? I'm dragging you into something dangerous and dumb. Are you alright? And he's like, no, I'm fine. I love it.
It's like, I think the only time I really pull rank is like, alright, you're coming with me because we're not splitting the party. He's like, no, that's fair.
Right, which is good, because like I said, I've run, we gotta be on like 10 years of games, I think, about.
I don't have the paraglider yet. Fuck.
10 or 11.
Why am I trying to use it?
Rip Lucky doesn't have the paraglider. But there's some things I have learned, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of them is about, like I said, splitting the party. Like, sometimes it's okay. If you've got a lot of players, it's not okay. You will never get back to those people. I remember poor Wild Talents at times. Poor Marth, who stuck to his guns as a character and was off doing his own thing away from Vera and Fang, because Vera and Fang were very mean to him sometimes with their... Those characters were great for lots of different reasons. Like, there were a lot of lessons learned in my Wild Talents game. Someday I'd love to run Wild Talents or play again. Run Where the Fuck is West Coast? Where the Fuck is West Coast, our new segment. But you learn a lot of lessons running. That was a big open-ended Supers campaign, so I learned a lot of things about gaming and how to run games. And one of them was like, on the one hand, it's cool for people to get their spotlight scenes and to be truly solo, and like it makes sense for Supers, right?
Mm-hmm.
As a genre. Like, sometimes Feng would tie a bandana around his face instead of his spooky demon mask and go punch people in skyscrapers, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's very iconic for you. I should do that. I can't let you take more than like 20 or 30 minutes doing that, though, because there are literally 3 other people sitting around the virtual table doing nothing while you do that. And occasionally I like intercut. I'm like, okay, you're doing something else in the skyscraper. Hey, somebody else, what are you doing right now? You know, you gotta learn that pacing. Although here's the thing I remembered. Yes, that is another thing, Dallas. That's like for D&D with alignment systems, it's very hard, and it's an iconic problem of D&D or other type of groups where, like, all right, we have 4 or 5 player. Actually, let's say 4. I think 4 is the iconic D&D number. 4 to 6. We have 4 people. We have 1 lawful good, 1 neutral good, 1 chaotic good, and then we have 1 neutral evil. Or worse, we have 1 chaotic evil thief. I'm like, well, this won't be troublesome. Luckily, I've never had a problem that bad because I've always recruited my friends from other things first, but I know that can be a problem. So, like, yeah, no, like, that can be an issue that people have. And it's like, no, you should make sure people are all on the same page. Also, yes, that's another thing where some people are like, I'm lawful good, so that means I should enforce the law, right? Evil is bad. I'm like, well, I mean, if you're really just about the law above all else, that's more of a lawful neutral kind of thing, but whatever. Evil stupid is another. Chaotic neutral and stupid evil, regardless of whether it's lawful neutral or chaotic, are also really troublesome alignments where you're just like, oh, I'm evil, so I should just eat babies, right? I'm like, no, you don't have to be that obviously evil, asshole. Like, be classy evil.
Like, in my D&D play campaigns, I'm generally always someone of some variety of evil. Generally lawful evil or neutral evil. And it's just like, why aren't you out doing, like, actual evil things? It's like, because I'm evil and pragmatic.
Right, hey, evil. My favorite example of what a neutral evil character should be like is Morrigan in the original Dragon Age Origins. She's not a good person. She's very selfish. She's very focused on acquiring power and solving your goals. But she's not... Well, she's an asshole, but that's okay, because I like that in a woman. But she's not usually detrimental to your party all the time. Like, she's like... What? Like, if you save an orphan, Morrigan's like, why did you waste resources saving that orphan? But she does not dropkick the orphan, right? She's not an idiot. So, like, whenever I want to talk to anybody about what's the example of like an evil character in a good group, Morrigan, literally, no, like she's not a good person. She's doesn't do anything for the sake of altruism or anything. Like, nothing is done for the goodness of her heart. But she's not a complete dick about it. Also, there's some arguments you could make about certain characters in Inquisition, but that's a whole deep conversation I don't think we want to get into. But there's a very keynote character in Inquisition who, if you wanted to talk about their alignments, woo, that's a whole episode right there. Lucky knows what I mean.
Yeah.
Dragon Age is a fun conversation. All right, Dallas said it. There, that's fair.
Oh yeah, that's right. Pick up another Boko Club, because I don't actually want to use my swords.
This is the folder for pre-gens I made, so if anybody wants to look at them and see them. The abbreviation there is that the adventure I wrote for L5R is called My Big Fat Rokugani Wedding. Because I can't not be funny. But yeah, so like, there's a lot of stuff to talk about tabletop mechanics and kind of like figure stuff out, and like that's why you gotta pilot stuff. Yes, Poke, that's what I'm referencing. But you gotta like feel out your players and like figure out where everybody's tolerances are, and figure out how hard of a hand you need to take as a GM. Because sometimes you can be a soft GM. You can just be like especially with like some Apocalypse World games, you don't have to do anything. You don't even roll dice. You just sit back and are like, hey, I wrote some spooky, awful stuff that's happening in the world. You guys deal with whatever drama you've got going on, and like you do dramatic stuff, right, to like keep the pacing or when players fuck up. But you can just sit back and let players do their own drama. I've done that so often with Monster Hearts and Urban Shadows, where I just was like, all right, you guys are just gonna do stuff. I just put some stuff out in the world. Whatever, do whatever, dude.
Yeah,
like
I'm always gonna remember that our second Monster Hearts campaign ended with me killing a dude because he killing a dude, and we're just like, well, that's how that goes. Good.
And I'm just like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, fuck it, NPCs don't need to have 4 harm. Yeah, no, he's just dead. 1 harm did him in. Rip. He was an NPC. That means they're tissue paper. They die fast. It's a, you know, you're on a TV melodrama, so characters just die that aren't main. You're just fucking dead, dude. And by the way, those are all recorded. All of our second Monster Hearts campaign, Arborea, is recorded. We stopped that just because we had to take a break for the holidays, and I don't know, we weren't super into it. Like, it was fun, but I don't think we were super attached to it. But like, you can hear us do Pacific Northwest teen drama stuff. Lucky plays an elf character very, very well. Kind of a shame I didn't record the first Monster Hearts we did. I liked that one a lot. I think we had a lot of diverse character concepts.
Oh,
yeah. But yeah, so like I said, sometimes your GM needs to have a heavy hand, and be like, no, listen, here's what's going on, and if you don't follow the campaign concept, and you try to take this off the rails, and rails can be both literal or figurative. Like, literally, a story can be on rails where it's just like, you literally are supposed to go here and do this. Or it can just be like, figuratively on rails where it's just like, alright, generally, your quest is to save the realm, say, of Hyrule. And you gotta get 4 MacGuffins to do that. And then, in a tabletop game, it can be entertaining if all of your players go, yeah, but what if I just cooked and mined for gems in Kakariko Village? I'm like, okay, sure. And then, if you need to, your GM goes, alright, fucking evil ninjas attack you, and we'll keep attacking you until you do the fucking plot. And you're like, okay. That's actually a tabletop trope, Suddenly Ninjas, where you're just like, the players are minding their own business, they're not doing anything you want to, they just get attacked by ninjas. Because there's 2 things player characters can't stand. Somebody trying to take their stuff, or somebody trying to kill them. You try to kill a player character, you try to take his stuff, or you try to kill an NPC they like, they will fucking go to war. They will say, I will destroy this man and everything he ever loved. You're a lawful good paladin. Well, he's evil. You're a chaotic good Robin Hood. Fuck him. He's rich. Oh, I'm sure Dallas is telling a really good story about supers. Yeah, having run a long-running supers campaign, which was it was different from a Gazetteer type campaign. That was a locational campaign. It was set in a fictional city, which I put a lot of effort into, and it was all about what the characters were doing in that city, and all the different like gang mechanics and stuff. And no, literally, thugs just attacked you sometimes. Vera got kidnapped by the Illuminati once, which I can say because we are probably never ever running the second and third acts of that game. That no, she was literally kidnapped by the Majestic 12. That's what that was. Boom, revelation.
I didn't know.
Lucky, you were saying something though about making player characters do the plot.
It's like that's I guess I had 2 things to say on that. Like, first off, we were talking about mess with their stuff, try to kill them, or an NPC they care about. The first two really don't bug me so much because items are items are temporary, and I'm usually trying to kill just as many people as are trying to kill me, so I find fair. But Omega is 110% credit. If you try to attack a fucking NPC I will go to fucking war immediately.
I'm like, excuse me, I like that you that was in our Star Wars game, which is one of the better anecdotes about our Star Wars campaign, which was sadly never recorded, even though it was great. I'll tell this story from my game master's perspective. So we're actually running through a pre-run adventure because Fantasy Flight's Star Wars ones are pretty good, especially I've heard some of the Force and Destiny ones are a little heavy on the leaning that you're supposed to be light side morality. Like some of the not light side choices are very obvious and stilted, but whatever. I mean, they're writing adventures, so only got so much paid space. But we're running through one of the Age of Rebellion adventures. This is Mayhem Squad. To set the tone, this is Mayhem Squad. There are 4 people in Mayhem Squad. There is Taket. He is definitely not a Jedi. We are not using the J word. He is a mechanic and demolitions expert. And he has a very specialized cutting tool. Okay? Never mind that sometimes he throws bombs with his mind. Then we've got, by the way, that's Lucky's character in case you couldn't tell from how he laughed. Then we have Bex, or BX, aka Dr. Murderbot. He was a separatist commando droid who was repurposed by Taket to be a healer, but also was still a sniper. So he healed and also he shot people, and sometimes stabbed. So that was fun. And then we had our, I can't remember what his name was, but we had our resident Bugman. He was a Verpine, who was a bit of an outcast. He was a gunslinger and a pilot. He was technically an Edge of the Empire. He was a smuggler character, so he was the pilot, and he had pistols, and he wasn't afraid to use them. One time, I think he did enough damage to shoot 6 guys at once. He killed the whole minion group.
I think so, yeah.
Or he split his shot and killed 2 minion groups that were 3 at the same time. Whatever, he shot a lot of guys dead. I think one time he blew a Rancor's leg off. He was great with with pistols, and also was great with piloting. Not that not being great at piloting ever stopped Taket. I think you bought Enhanced just so you could roll Force dice to pilot, and agility, raw agility. And then our 4th member, who sometimes wasn't there, played by Red, was Daro, the Duros hacker. So he was a computer and technical specialist who was only around some of the time. But he was mostly quiet and exasperated by shenanigans when he was here. The one time you guys did help him blow up his arch nemesis with a bomb. It was a missile. So these guys have just fled from a rebel base that got attacked and had to blow itself up. They've arrived on a new planet. It was a very shitty jungle planet. They did not like it very much. And the whole plot is that there's an Imperial mole here. And so while they're like, we found the mole, we're going to reveal him right now. The mole grabs the base commander, who is a lovely lady that the player characters were attached to, especially Taket. Because that was one of Taket's quirks, was that he liked human females. So if there was a human woman, Taket liked her. But she was nice and was a reasonable authority figure to all of you. So he puts a gun to her head and, takes her out of the room and jumps on a speeder bike. The moment I think he clears the room, Taket, once again, dropping the not a Jedi illusion, because he was a Force and Destiny character, so yes, he was Force sensitive. I think you were Force rating 3 or 4 at this point. You were up there. Mm-hmm. Taket breaks out into a full-blown Force sprint. Taket is a Chadra fan, in case we didn't talk about this before. He's a Batman who's 4 feet tall. So he jumps into a dead fucking Force sprint after this guy. Now, obviously, because this is a scripted adventure, I'm on the rails a little bit, but I'm like, okay, he's on a speeder bike, he's getting out of town. You try to catch him on foot. Taket's just hauling ass, just through your jungle camp in the shittiest jungle planet ever. Just hauling ass, and he's like, didn't quite catch him. Speeder bike was too fast. Even though I think you crashed through a couple tents and stuff. So you jump on your own bike with, I think you were with Daro. Daro pulled up on a bike and jumped on the back. And then he was gone for the second session of this, so he stayed outside. The pilot and Dr. Murderbot stay behind to take a airspeeder and chase after you. And you'll maintain comms communication. So, you blitz through the jungle after this guy in a short speeder bike chase, and you find a cave. And this is where, like I said, we switched sessions, and Darrow's player wasn't there for the second session. So he stayed outside the cave to watch the bike and tell the other player characters where you were. So Taket ninjas his way through this cave. There are 2 auto turrets. They try to shoot Taket. Taket's not happy about this. So he fucking demolishes them. I think you lightsabered one and, like, threw another one into a wall.
Sounds like I do.
So the villain with the person with him, and actually, I think you may have actually saved her at this point. Like, you, like, force pulled her out of his grip or something. Mm-hmm. And you get her away, and he takes the fuck off, though, and you're like, no, that motherfucker's not getting away. I want to know things now. So first off, because you'd bought a lot of upgrades in the move power, you just fucking force hold the ship. He's got a Silhouette 4. He's got a Jumpmaster ship taken off, and he's just like, no. Force move. I roll enough pips. I move it back to me. And I'm like, okay, that works. So you're just holding this there with your mind. You're fighting him. You're resisting him. And you manage to get close enough to actually grab onto the closed loading ramp. And then you let go with the force so he takes off, because you can't keep fighting him and, like, use your hands. So Taket is gripped to the back of a fleeing freighter, shooting for space, max speed, while just hanging onto the back, trying to open the fucking door. Like, you're trying to pop the release on the cargo ramp so you can get the fuck in, while this thing is careening to orbit. Here come the other 2 player characters in their airspeeder, and do a fucking aerial pass and shoot at the freighter. Well, it's a scout ship, but you know what I mean. It's like a big Millennium Falcon-sized ship. They hit it, and Taket loses his grip, and then he force pulls the ship back down under him so he falls on it, because Taket is 100% done with this shit. And continues trying to get in. He does actually get the ramp open, but then the player characters are on another pass, and they shoot down the scout ship. They do enough damage, it's disabled, and it starts plummeting towards the Earth. At which point, I'm pretty sure Taket just hangs out on the back until it crashes. You charge in, and you're, like, steering the thing, right?
You know,
you're
I told the guy was like, like, we're both on this ship, and if you don't let me, like, do something to the engines, we're both gonna fucking die in a crash.
Yeah, and actually, I remember now. No, you didn't rescue the lady yet, because this actually comes in later. So she was, like, unconscious and strapped in, which is why you thought this was such a bad idea. So Taket is, like, fighting the stick, trying to regain control or fix the ship, you know, clearing stuff out. I think you just managed to heal it enough that the engines come back online, and you pull it out of a dive, and it's not the worst crash, but you still crash into the fucking jungle. Yep. Which is a rainforest jungle, by the way, like many jungles are. Oh, and as a Chandra fan, Taket is deathly afraid of water. This has been a plot point in other stories I may tell at other episodes of What's Up. So you crash into the jungle, into a sinkhole. You're not unconscious, but you're super beat up. The spy is unconscious. The lady is unconscious. She, like, took a stun blast or something. The ship is now vertical. It's like Jurassic Park. And water is slowly starting to leak in. And since the cockpit is at the front, you're where the water is. Meanwhile, in the sky, Dr. Murderbot is a little upset that we have accidentally shot down his little buddy. He pops the hatch on the gunner seat of the airspeeder and just jumps out. Because he has had a grav chute since, I think, session 1 or 2, and never used it up until this point. And he just parachutes down to your location. While the bugman is wondering to himself, what did I do wrong? He's like, what'd I do? What'd I do? I just shot him. I thought that's what we were doing. So he basically starts to circle, and wait for news. Dr. Murderbot parachutes down. Meanwhile, on the ground, Taket is faced with a problem. He has 2 unconscious people, one of whom he likes, and he is in a small space, slowly filling with water. So, what does Taket do as a 4-foot Batman? He grabs the unconscious lady, slings her over his shoulder, and free climbs the, 10, 20 feet straight up to the back ramp, which is still open, by the way, from when he opened it while it was flying. And, puts her down, hands her conveniently to Dr. Murderbot. And he's like, hey, take care of this lady. And then is like, I'm going back in for the other guy. And then climbs down, grabs this guy, who, by the way, was described as fat. He's a heavy dude. and clambers his way back out. Both people are saved. The ship is filled with water. It's a total loss. And then basically, Bugman lands the airspeeder and climbs out, so all the party are together. And basically, they sit in the jungle while it rains under the cover of the landed airspeeder for a couple of hours until reinforcements show up and can get them home because they can't fit all the people in the airspeeder. And just like, I'm like, nope, this is a good scene. And that is one of many memorable sequences I have from our Star Wars games.
The cat was a character that I enjoyed narratively and mechanically, which sometimes is a hard combo to do. Because the cat, like I said, he was a force user, and like I didn't go for like I think only 2 powers, like 2 trees I really went into. Move and enhance, which was telekinesis and basically enhancing your body because just of all the nifty fun little things you could do with it.
I think by the end of it, basically with enhance, it was like just about any physical skill you rolled with force dice instead. You were like, it's like, add your force dice to your athletics roll, add it to your brawl rolls, add it to your pilot rolls. Just like, yep. Taquette also, by the way, loved to customize gear. That was another big mechanic you were into. So you had all the best stuff, like your shock glove, which was slow firing, but it did a shitload of stun damage, and you would just fucking lightning uppercut people. Sure you can. Yeah, oh, he's unconscious.
This little 4-foot charger. I really was Batman. I had gadgets for
and if you didn't have a tool for it, you would fucking build it, because the Star Wars RPG had very robust item crafting rules. I'm a little sad the campaign faded before the ship crafting rules came out, because I'm sure Taquette would have built some shit.
It's like, even before that, we were doing stuff. Remember when we landed on that ship graveyard and we wanted to evacuate the Jawa tribe? We literally, because the way that because the reason why Taquette was able to do move such big things is just because, like I said, I think at that point I had bought the entire move tree, so I could literally lift ships out of
basically you took enough upgrades so you could. Normally, you can only affect a silhouette 0 or 1 object. You took enough upgrades where if you spent the force points, you could be per force point spent, you could double it. So you spent 3 force pips, and we're like, okay, I can target silhouette 8. I can move Star Destroyers. I'm a Star Killer now.
we got 2 skeleton ships. We smashed them together, and we're like, all right, this kind of flies.
Yeah, we had a fucking Titan AE movie montage where you just welded stuff for a week.
Yep. But where was I going with that? But yeah, other than that, it's I was the cat was this really weird bipolarness of, I'm a really good person, but I really, really like blowing stuff up and stealing.
I think that was kind of what your emotional, your morality compass was, where it was you were super nice and compassionate, but dude, I love stuff. Because Taquette was a light side paragon. Not because you weren't averse to occasionally doing bad stuff, but I think almost in spite of the fact that you would be fuck it, I'm great. I'm a great person. I'll take some risk on some conflict. Oh, I lost 5 points. Not terrible. You were willing to occasionally bend the rules because A, your morality score wasn't the most important thing in the world to you, and B, you, as a character, Taquette was such a good person 90% of the time, the occasional little falters weren't a big deal. Also, Taquette had, that reminds me of Taquette's internet girlfriend, who was a Sith ghost lady in a holocron. Which Taquette kept even after she possessed him a couple times. And yeah, we just called her Taquette's internet girlfriend, because I gave her a really dumb, weird Latin Sith name inspired by some the Old Republic names that nobody could ever remember. Was it Philologus or something? I don't know. It was really too much of a mouthful, so it was just Taquette's internet girlfriend. because the characters all thought that she was just a hologram because it was a holocron, right? They thought she was just recording. No, she was a spooky Sith ghost who had died with her holocron, and her undead spirit was like, no, my knowledge though, spooky knowledge. Because I don't care what George Lucas thinks, Sith ghosts are fun, so they happen. That's another thing about running Star Wars or other games with established canon. You can't be afraid to go, well, that's not how it works in canon, but my idea is way better, or is really fun for the players, so I'm gonna do it anyway. I think I've done that a little bit with the L5R rating. I'm like, this is not really how this is established as working in canon, but I'm basing this on actual Japanese folklore that I like, so it's okay.
How we do.
But yeah, I've got a lot of great Ticket stories. We ran that game for like a couple of years on and off. It was pretty good. Definitely one of my, I think, definitive experiences, because I learned a lot from that to just be like, that's how I learned my open-ended game mastering approach, where it's just like, okay, here is a place. Here is a thing you need to do in the place. Here's some of the people who are important to this place. Go nuts. Do whatever. Like one time you heisted a guy of all his relics because you were just hunting for relics, and you built a whole elaborate con scheme, and then you abandoned it because you didn't want a girl to get in trouble.
Nope.
And then you conducted the elaborate heist anyway. But still, like, that none of that was planned. Like, I was just like, here's some NPCs, here's some more NPCs who will show up later because it's funny. Here's some stuff he has. I'll just wing the rest of the rolls.
Yes. The standard MO of Mayhem Squad is we will conduct an elaborate MO for this. It's gonna go tits up at some point, and we're gonna solve every fucking explosive.
Yeah, there was another Imperial Governor whose palace you were in to, like, steal some intel, or possibly to whack him, I'm not sure. Mayhem Squad played fast and loose with the rules of engagement, okay? But he had a museum, and you were like, okay, cool, we're gonna steal some shit. And then you challenged him and his robot bodyguard, and just exploded your way out of there, because it was like, fuck, we're fighting now, let's get out of here.
Yeah, once I learned that I think it was the proton bomb?
Yes, it was proton grenades.
Yeah, proton grenades, they weren't that expensive. Once that and you can change them out to get, multiplicative effect. So I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna carry like 5 of these, like, around at all times.
Yeah, so proton charges are the bombs from, Return of the Jedi. So they're magnetic, they're self-shaped, they're conventional demolition explosives, so they aren't restricted or illegal, and their special rule was you could bundle them together for more effect. So Ticket literally had a satchel of them everywhere he went, and just, how many bombs do I need for this problem? Is this a 1-bomb problem or a 2-bomb problem? And occasionally we're like, this is a 5-bomb problem. That was, I think, like, the max damage.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, hold on, I'm going to roll mechanics, because mechanics was the demolition skill, which I love. I love when games do that, where you're like, there are multiple applications of this skill.
Oh, yeah.
And, so you're like, I'm going to roll mechanics, my fixing shit skill, and I'm just going to space tape. Star Wars actually has a space tape equivalent that I don't know of, but I'm going to tape 5 of these together and magnetize them to the target and blow them the fuck up. But yeah, because they were... Like, it was all 3 game lines, but you were mostly an Age of Rebellion group. You mostly did rebel stuff. But sometimes you did Force shit, and sometimes you did crime shit.
Yeah.
Mostly you did crime shit to fund your rebel shit, and you did Force shit because Ticket liked shiny things, and was immune to all the spooky horrors that he kept running into. Freaky asteroid ruins with, like, half-dead smugglers who were space crazy? Whatever.
Who was I can't remember her name, but who was the fucking, treasure hunter we kept running into? I forgot her name.
I don't know, it's in my notes somewhere. Yeah, you did keep running into her, though. And Ticket liked hanging out with her.
Like I said, like, I get real serious over, I honestly, I think it's an affliction from me watching, like, so much anime and stuff, but, like, I'll just see a character and be like, I like this character.
That's good, I hope. That gives me hope for L5R, because there are a lot of... I've written stat lines for lots of supporting characters. Because that's I think I said this last
like
week that the campaign is not quite episodic, but it definitely I think will have a pacing kind of like that, like a TV series or an anime series where it's like, okay, here's the overplot, and this week we're solving this problem. This week we're solving this problem. This week we're dealing with the fallout of the thing we did last week. Next time on Dragon Ball Z.
I think like every actually I'm probably gonna mark this as one of my my player quirks. Basically every game I always pick like usually a female character because unfortunately I'm one of those people like male or female. I'm gonna be attracted to female.
Also, I'll admit it. I write waifus.
Yeah, but I always pick a character that I get emotionally attached to, and it's not always romantically attached. Like Mages of War, Wolfgang is super attached to the captain. Like, but it's not in a romantic sense, as in
which is good because she's like 17. That would be a little weird for our real life.
Yeah, no,
not
but,
a question
like,
in 1915, but
yeah, but no, like. No, it's like I want to say, oh god, what is that? Oh, that's a big rock. Excuse me, sir, why are you here?
That was fun.
I didn't know there was one on the plateau. Holy shit.
Oh, you didn't? I ran into my first guy on the plateau.
I don't know. But, shit, can I even take him out? I only got 3 health.
Just dodge his punches, climb on his back, and blow up his little rock thing on the top.
But, you know, it's just like, it's a person that, like, I will, like, pay attention to, like, I'll involve, oh yeah, sprinting. Sprinting's good. Rocks are not. Involved in, like, my, machinations or my attempts, or in who I will completely and utterly go to war for. Like, I tell you right now, if anything happens to the fucking captain, like, you know, prisoner of war, capture, political trail, I'm going and getting her back. It's like, I will, straight up desert. So, but, like, I'm keep thinking about it, it's like, yeah, just about, like, every tabletop game I'm playing with you, I've always picked, like, well, I can't say picked one, because my, my fancies are flighty. But, like, in the, what was the name of the Russian campaign? Scythian. On the Scythian front, it was the Poison Wood Sniper. Wood. It was Poison.
Yeah, it was Wood, because you were Metal Void. She was.
Oh, yeah.
I deliberately wrote that character to be a foil to you, so.
Yeah, and that was all like, I like her. I said in our Star Wars game, it was a lot of women. Oh man. And just like in general, I don't know. That's another one of my quirks. I guess I have to note down. Will get attached to NPCs,
which is good. Honestly, that's better than not being attached. Like if you just. It's way worse for players to treat NPCs as, like, disposable cardboard cutouts, right? Like that they're just background stuff. That's way shittier and often harder to deal with as GM than to just... Like, obviously, some characters should be thought of that way. Like, that's totally acceptable. Like, speaking of L5R, there's going to be times when you're just going to be dealing with, like, rando samurai or even peasants, and you're just going to be like, his life matters nothing to me. If he dies, he dies. But also, it's way better if you get attached to characters, which is probably why we're going to play with the bond rules, where you can spend XP to build relationships, and they're anime as fuck.
Really? I gotta look at that.
It's in the newest book. It's an optional rule. So I don't have the PDF yet, but when I get it, I'll share it with you. But there's like, you can have a love relationship, which is about what you'd think. You can have like a comrades relationship, nakama. You can have a rival relationship, which is all about I will surpass you. It's hilarious. Or you can have a nemesis. And all these have special abilities too. So like once per session, like with your nemesis relationship, you can turn to the game master and you can literally say, "Game master, is my nemesis behind this?" And they have to tell you yes or no. I'm like, that's perfect. I love that so much. That is so anime for you to just be like, this is the work of my nemesis, isn't it? Shit. So speaking of crossplay, which is what people usually call it when you play other genders, I did that a lot. I write and play in my own when I actually get to play lady characters a decent chunk. I've done some dudes though. I talked about when we had our big discussion of 4th Ed a while ago. I talked about how I played some games at my college where I was a male 80s rock bard. complete with 80s hair and like a weird leopard print coat. And even though the game master was like, your longbow doesn't have to be a longbow. It could be like a rifle, and it does the same damage. You're like, no, it's a longbow. I went to Bard's College, so I'm like a huge dork. I had a guitar though. Ladies love the guitar, but like I do that a decent chunk. Sometimes just because it's more interesting. Like I do that a lot in video games too, where it's just like, I don't know, this seems fun.
Well, it's the power of imagination and fun, so it's like, why not experiment and fun? Like, I would say I probably play, like, an equal amount of male to female. Or sometimes
Probably.
I'll play...
Probably. I'm thinking about it.
Or sometimes I do, like, Eclipse phase, where it's like, yeah, I was totally born a male, but I use female more.
Well, Eclipse phase is a lot of fun for that. That's like, you can literally buy an implant, the sex switch, and just be like, I can switch my gender in a week. I'm going to be male next week. But Eclipse Phase is great. I love that a lot. I really need to check what they're doing the second edition. That took them a lot longer to come out with than they thought it would. So I need to like look into that. Or we need to get the band back together and finish my Eclipse Phase campaign. Maybe that would get me to finish writing all the stuff. That was definitely a gazetteer. That's like, oh, you're on Mars now? Here's like 5 cool things from the storyline that I love about Mars that I'm going to make you deal with. You're going to go through a gate. You're going to go to the Space Vegas. You're gonna deal with Martian wilderness. You're gonna deal with the Titan quarantine zone because everybody loves Stalker, but in space on Mars. God, I love Eclipse Phase so much. Which I don't think our audience would really know because we haven't done anything with Eclipse Phase in a long time. But we do. We actually have a probably very shitty, but we have an Eclipse Phase recording on the channel. Check it out. That's
Which one did we record?
We recorded the first half of, shit, what is it called? I completely forgot the name. It's discard something to face bloodshed, I think was the name of it. Let me get in the old YouTubes there. By the way, audience, both live and, in channel.
I'm just trying to remember.
If you're, wondering about this kind of stuff, we have a whole AP playlist. Like I've recorded several actual plays. Some of them are old, some of them are new, some of them are probably pretty shitty sounding.
How do I throw a weapon? Oh, that's how!
Other features, playlistos. Yeah, I would expect Dallas to have done that. That's good. That means Dallas has a good idea of what our playstyle is like. Here we are, actual play. Almost 40 of these videos. Technically, it is 40 because I have the audio for the Mages of War 23.5, I just haven't posted it. Dehumanize yourself to face bloodshed, that's right. So that was the one on the moon. That's actually where your character Gecko originated. You made her for that first.
Oh yeah!
Or him, technically. I feel like we never really got too deep into how your character... that's how far in the future Eclipse Phase is like, we didn't even think about how your character thinks about their pronouns. We were just like, I don't know, I've got a lady body, you can call me a lady. Whatever.
Yeah. Like, Gecko's whole thing was he just really liked the female form and the sexuality it is.
So here's
it's like there's something...
playlist.
You can, say what you want about, sexualization of female characters, but, hey, there's girls out there who, enjoy it. And that's what it was.
Alright.
She was part, hey, I beat it. I just had to break, 4 of my weapons to do it.
And this is the Eclipse Phase 1, specifically. If people are looking for it, I linked it in our Discord. I don't know, I can probably put the actual playlist in the end card for this, at the end of it.
Honestly, I think my favorite thing about Gecko wasn't that, that she was, this oversexed, fucking character. Instead, that she was, this semi-reptilian, girl that could literally survive in the vacuum.
Yeah, you were, we called you a space jock because you were a pilot.
Yeah.
But you had all the mods that you would literally survive in vacuum. You had, high temperature tolerance, you had vacuum sealing, you had, oxygen reserves and shit. And you were like,
see,
I can take a naked swim in space.
Yeah. And she did so recreationally. The thing that always bugged me about Eclipse Phase, now that we're talking about it, is that there's so much gear porn in it, yet it's kind of built in the way that you're not supposed to actually have gear porn. Because
that was a bit of a weird thing, because, the game is all about high-tech future shit, but then it's also about,
your body
everything is ephemeral, right? Your tech is just whatever. Your gear, gear is impermanent. Your mind is impermanent. Your body is everything is impermanent. So you know,
So like,
it was interesting. I wonder if the second edition has addressed that any, because like I know the game designers and lots of players really love the gear porn parts. I know I did, both as a player and game master. But you're right. Like when I could not have player characters recreationally ego cast because it would be like, oh, you have to spend shitloads of money, which is kind of a big deal because we're all about, all this hypercapitalism. So, like, I'm trying to remember, this is a problem with not recording and probably not taking a lot of notes. Well, we've got notes somewhere. I could look for it. Do you remember, did you put your old body in storage or did you sell it?
I'm pretty sure I put it in storage.
Yeah, I think you actually were like, I'm going to pay the extra money because I put in lots of opportunity for player characters to make shitloads of money.
Yes.
Prepare an L5R to have more money than you literally know what to do with, because your boss is literally going to hand you a giant chest full of koku and be like, whatever, I don't care about money. Here's your war chest, do whatever. And you're going to be like, shit, what do I do? I could buy a Zanbato, but I don't really need to. I don't know, maybe somebody will play a Matsu and we want to buy a Zanbato, get a giant horse-killing sword. Anyway, but like, you actually paid to store your body and got a new body, and then I'm pretty sure we spent not a session, but like an in-game day where you guys just acclimated to your new bodies and updated all your fucking hardware and software. Yeah. You were like, we're going to take a spa day and we're going to reinstall all our implants because we're on Mars now. Oh, I love Eclipse.
We also had to get our fucking Martian RV.
Yeah, you guys bought an RV. That was fun.
We put banging ass sound system in it.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the things I actually enjoy about role playing is not so much I do enjoy overarching plot, but sometimes just little bitty details here and there that makes me go tee. That's where I feel like, cause yeah, we're together. It's all like, yeah, we got this RV, but we should put a sound system in it, and we actually had to like, yeah.
I think it was more. It was just like we were talking about, customization. Like, oh, you can put robotic enhancements in a vehicle, and I don't know if it was me or if it was when he was just like, oh, sound system is really cheap. I'm like, yeah, I guess. You're like, we're gonna put fucking speakers in this thing. We're gonna roll down the Martian highway, the M1 Martian highway, blasting tunes with a deep bass line.
Yeah, we like I can't remember for the life of me why we were there, but it's like, yeah, no, it's like we're going on a Martian road trip.
Well, basically, it was you needed to get to a different city. Because that's actually, Mars is a planetary body with, like, different things on it. So it was like, how do you want to travel? I was like, okay, you could catch a plane ride, basically. You could ride on a maglev train, or Mars has actual highways. You could rent or buy a car and drive. And you were like, we want a mobile base. Let's buy an RV. Because OPSEC, which is one thing you guys all took to very well, was OPSEC. Actually, that was a game with Ron in it that I think was more recent than our Star Wars games. So, like, that was just when Ron had time.
Maybe. Oh, yeah.
Anyway.
But, what was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, lucky player quirk number 2. I like bases.
Yes. So I want to say that we're at about 2 hours and 50 minutes, so we're going to have problems with the over-recording soon.
Oh, God.
We talked a lot about tabletop stuff and a lot Breath of the Wild. Let's see. There were a couple other things I wanted to mention. Case Files 3 was good. We'll probably talk more about it next week on Let's Talk FGO, just to save time. But I liked it a lot. It was fun. I haven't watched any other anime this week because I've been busy with Zelda. As evidenced by the hour and a half we spent talking about it. The only other thing I wanted to mention, and I actually wanted to mention this earlier, but we jumped right in with Breath of the Wild, was merch stuff, because people were surprised that we do merch. Yes, that's a thing. We link to our store in literally every video in the description, but obviously I know everybody doesn't check that, and it is kind of at the bottom. So hopefully I put a card in linking to it earlier, and you may have seen it and clicked on it. We'll see how that works out, but yeah, just as a casual reminder, yeah, we sell shirts and mugs and stuff. They're not like... The quality of the product is okay because it's from a third-party publisher. It's Teespring. They handle all the production and stuff for us. On-demand printing and stuff. So, like, I'm sure the quality of the merch is okay. The detail is probably not super advanced. We're sorry. We've actually had some listings go unlisted, and I've had to, like, try and figure them out. We want to work on that more later, but I just figured since people were actually talking about how they didn't remember that we did that, I would be like, oh, no, we do that. If you want to pick up a Waifuologist mug or people like, which is good, because I'm proud of it, our Special Waifus and Tactics shirt, which is just shirts in a couple of colors, and it says SWAT, Special Waifus and Tactics on it. You can also get that on a mug. Just throw it out there. We've got plans for further stuff, and I think I joked in Discord, where I'm like, I just need to give Lucky the Teespring credentials and let him go crazy.
I like this. This is what I like to say. It's like, Lucky has graphic tee ideas. He just does not have graphic tee motivation.
Not yet. We'll figure that out someday. Like, we'll get on there. And I think you probably will need like your tablet tool set and stuff, because I know you've talked about how you're still having problems getting it to work right.
Like, I got a real good art program with Clip Art Studio. Again, thank you, patrons, for funding that. And that's because that's how I've been using to make all the new emotes that the Discord is.
Emotes. You used to design a new thumbnail, I think.
Yep.
For Let's Talk FGO, there's no new thumbnail for What's Up at the moment. I don't know if Lucky will be struck with inspiration, but for now it's just Rabbit and Robot on a couch.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, maybe once I actually like nail down some other character stuff. But I said, Lucky's art talent is not that great. But I just know I know a few tips or tricks. Right now on my to-do document, I got to make a waffle emote though. That probably won't be too hard. Either I'll draw one myself, which won't be hard, or I'll go find one. Just because I like waffles. Omega, do you like waffles?
Yes, I eat waffles a lot.
Yeah, so you're gonna need a waffle. So. Sorry.
Well, mostly it's just because we were like, there's no generic waffle emoji. There's just pancakes. So I was like, this is a travesty.
Yes, we are being discriminated against.
Not that pancakes are bad. They're just different. They're not the same. God damn it. But other than that little reminder, we're getting close to 3 hours, and I'm getting kind of hungry because it's like almost 7:30 at night.
I ate a big old burrito,
and I haven't eaten in a few hours, so I figure we'll go ahead and wrap up here. Lucky, do you have any final things you want to touch on?
Nah.
Okay. I guess I'll just do the outro. Hey, we did a 3-hour What's Up show. Go us.
Yay.
Number 50.
Hey, I found a sword. Oh, it's rusty.
Lucky found a sword. Thanks so much for tuning in live. I should mention this because I did not do the math on Let's Talk FGO. But, so, the official date, which is the anniversary of Let's Talk FGO, the first one was posted on August 4th. So, I figure 2 weeks from now, we'll do our 2-year celebration, because that's probably after we recorded it. It'll be a little bit before we posted it, but it'll be like after we recorded it, and it just works out with the timeline, okay? Don't sass me on this. That'll be August the 2nd. That episode will be live. That will also be episode 99. I'm not 100% sure if we'll also do 100 the next week as a live episode or what. We'll have to see. But just letting everybody know, if you like live episodes and want to tune in, Let's Talk FGO Live, August the 2nd, our 2-year special. All right. Oh, well, if that's everything, I'll go ahead and say the usual outro stuff, which is, hey, if you're watching this on YouTube and you like this video, give it a like. It really helps the channel. Keeps the video in distribution. Does good stuff. If you have any comments, leave them in the comment section down below. What's Up is criminally devoid of comments a lot of the time. Makes us sad. And if you want to listen to future live episodes, or you just want to hang out with lots of cool people, join our Discord. That link is in the description. You can also subscribe, if you haven't already, to the channel to always get our latest videos. Really important. Get all the videos we make. I actually have to queue up quite a few videos for production next week, so there's that. And even if you're already subscribed, considering that bell for notifications, so you always know we post a new episode, because it's like 7:30 at night, and this episode's like 3 hours, so God knows when it'll finish rendering. I haven't even edited the audio yet, so who the fuck knows? And, of course, like I said at the front of the show, consider supporting us on Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can get access to our audio downloads of the episodes, our complete back catalog, as long as you've been doing audio downloads. So it's on the go. And for more, you can get more stuff and do stuff. If you aren't too keen on, Patreon payments on a regular basis, the merch is a really good way to just give us a direct, immediate infusion of cash, and you get a cool shirt out of it. Just keep that in mind. And, yeah, that's everything. So we'll see you guys next week on What's Up, and also tune in for Let's Talk FGO. And other stuff. All right, I'm out.
I was gonna talk about magical girls, but whatever.
RIP.